I'm not going to play the video. I panicked.
You said no?
Well, you won't get monetization from this, right? You wouldn't get.
Well, I'm not getting paid regardless. So,
but anyway, Alex,
what's happening, everybody? Let's check out what's going on. Hey, Jason, thanks for being here. Sort of.
A few minutes ago, but yeah.
Jack, good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. Hey, a vaginal is never late. He is always right on time. Much like Gandalf in that way. Emma, do you know about Gandalf?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, thumbs up, man. That's it. Like it all. Richard, we're here, man. We are here.
Hey, Richard.
Everybody's having fun. Hey, Mick. Welcome. Trevor, hey. Well, greetings and salutations to all the people out there watching. It's been a while, and by a while, I think it's been a week since this same crew was together.
Because this is what we do on Saturday nights.
We are very clearly social creatures who enjoy going out on the town. Sam is back in the saddle, back after like a week-long sort of vacay on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Emma is back sort of after about she's in the middle of like a 2.5 month vacay called summer.
That's what they say.
And I said it. And so I don't know, Sam, I want to start with you and I want to hear about your little trip, but don't go too much into it because it's Williamsburg. So Emma will probably like that,
I love it. You can go as long as you want, Sam.
Never mind. I told Alex before you hopped on, I went through a lot of shirts because it was very hot. So I'm sure that's very interesting to those in the audience. I was in Williamsburg for the last week, Saturday to Saturday. I got home today about 6 after going to the grocery store to get some summer shandy, not a sponsor. And did all the Colonial Williamsburg stuff. We did Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Jamestown, Yorktown, all the stuff. I've been there a million times, but it's always a good time to go. It was a good time for our annual family vacation out there to Williamsburg. It's about 3.5 hours for me.
There's a great little cheesesteak place right next to / on the campus of William and Mary.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to the cheese shop? Is that what you're talking about?
Is it called the cheese shop?
Well, there's the cheese shop, which has sandwiches and like bread and all sorts of stuff. They might have cheesesteaks. It's in Colonial. Just call me James Brown.
The resemblance is uncanny.
Yep.
And the cocaine flows. No, it does not.
And from what I saw, you went to a rock and roll show last night, huh?
Rocking in a roll. No, they did not do that. Yes, I went to a music show. Yeah, I just did a video for it. It's got a whopping about 5 views.
Was Dick Stamos there?
Is every word I said.
He was there the night before, and his last show with the group was June 20th. I saw him on the 21st. For those that don't know, I saw Mike Love and his Beach Boys.
No, you saw the Beach Boys, man, didn't you?
The real Beach Boys.
Yeah, I saw the real Beach Boys. I sure did.
Sam,
I have to say my favorite part of the videos you posted was just Bruce Johnson just doing this on his keyboard the entire time.
Yeah, the keyboard's not plugged in. I don't know that Bruce has ever played keyboard.
Nope.
Did
he sing Disney Girls?
He did not. I think he probably told Mike, he's like, look, that was the song that I had the most success with the Beach Boys, but it's all I sing.
That's right. So we just need to do Kokomo and just call it a day.
Yeah, and he did lead on a couple songs he probably shouldn't have. But I did a review of the Beach Boys. Get that fly.
Someone has to.
Hey, wear your mosquito nets.
So stupid, Jesus.
But no, it was. I got into the show pretty much for nothing, and I wasn't planning to go, but I went.
Still too much.
That's like the 6th time I've heard that joke. But not just from you; it's the 3rd probably from you.
So if you had to rank it, where would it like go on a scale of 1 to 10?
I said 6. I mentioned that in my video. Only because, again, like for what Mike Love was doing at 83 years old, he sounds like Mike Love. It's not like he's like, like
Yeesh.
super crusty. Yeah, I mean, there's a yeesh factor. Yeah, I mean, that was cool. But I kind of mentioned
the hits.
They played the hits. I mean, he talked about he didn't mention John Stamos. He's like, this song came out in 1963, the year that our friend John Stamos was born. And everybody was like, oh, is he gonna come? I was like, no, he's not gonna come out. But then they showed him on the screen. They're like, we've known him since he was Blackie on Fridays.
They showed him on the screen?
Like a picture of him, like mullet,
wow.
like mullet John Stamos. But he was
They're really like banking in on that.
They are. And again, like this tour, like half of it is, with special guest John Stamos. So like he's gonna join them again in August, I think.
Yeah. I saw the Beach Boys actually I saw the Beach Boys on their 50th reunion tour at Ravinia in Highland Park, Illinois. And I think it was like 2012 or something like that. And John Stamos did the whole thing then. I mean, he's been doing it forever, but
yeah.
It's just interesting. Like, it's interesting to me that they would put him on screen even if he wasn't there. So
yeah, it's like they kept that part in for when he would like normally come out, but they're like, yeah, we don't want to edit this.
So we don't want to bother. Yeah.
We'll mention John Stamos. And it was interesting, and Alex, you'll appreciate this, given your line of work, which I won't go into.
Thanks.
It's a tragic thing. No, like they did the song "Be." That was a joke. they do "Be True to Your School," and then on the screen when they finish "Be True to Your School," like they show like I guess like every show they show like the local college, and again we're in Williamsburg, which is William and Mary is in Colonial Williamsburg, and said they showed UVA, which is
not
an hour and a half, at least 2 hours from Williamsburg.
Someone didn't do their job.
Well, and not only that, I mean, William and Mary is not like a podunk.
It's D1.
It is I mean, like you could argue. I mean, I could argue from my job that William and Mary might be the most important
historic college,
institution of higher education.
Yeah.
But it's
for sure. I mean, it was chartered in the 16 or 1700s.
Yeah.
So Sam, was Mike wearing a Beach Boys hat or a Mike Love hat?
No, I did not see either because they did have screens on either side.
Did he have a Mike Love hat on?
I did not see a Mike Love hat.
Didn't have a Mike Love hat.
It had a little circle. I don't know what was in it. But he did take note of the magnolia trees on either side of the stage. Like these are the biggest magnolias I've ever seen because like there were like a couple hundred people on either side that couldn't see the stage because of the magnolias. Yeah, if you ever wanted to hear the Beach Boys do "Rockaway Beach" by the Ramones, they did that.
That's cool.
Yeah, they did. And they it's always interesting to hear the Beach Boys in their 80s sing "When I Grow Up to Be a Man."
When I grow up to be a man. Did they hit that at all, or are they when I grow up?
Well, the falsetto, the guy singing falsetto, who was he was not. I mean, I know some Beach Boys lore, like the people that have taken the Brian Wilson part, like Jeffrey Foskett, and Matt Jardine.
Didn't he pass away?
He did. He had cancer. Last year he passed because he was in Brian's group, and then he switched to Mike's group.
Yeah.
And then he ended up. It was vocal cancer actually.
Didn't Matt Jardine end up taking over?
Yeah, and he was with Brian.
Brian's band,
yeah, and now he's with Al because Al, and he's touring with Brian's daughters.
I love Al. I would love to see that.
Oh, and Al sounds 30 years old.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I want to check in with my my boy here, sir. I know you got paid. Were you able to get your pre-orders in with the goodness, the Pale J stuff? Thank you so much. Sorry. Continue, people.
I mean, we're just talking about like third string Beach Boys here. So it's really bringing in the viewers, but
it's so funny though because but to go down this path, I mean, it is the same, different, but the same of all these conversations about like Foghat is like the drummer, and then obviously
Roger Earl,
Yeah, Three Dog Night was just announced to come here in August or October. I'm like,
Isn't there like one guy in Three Dog Night?
yeah, and it's not Burton Cummings.
Yeah.
In Three Dog Night, was he in that?
Not Three Dog Night.
No.
The Guess Who? No.
I guess
But Three Dog Night are the group coming. But
Yeah.
who was in Three Dog Night?
there's so many touring bands that it's like.
Yeah,
I always thought, Three Dog Night was always like interesting because I just kind of associated them with this like a vocal group, right? Because wasn't it like a couple of guys and then just like studio people? I don't know. I never really
maybe.
To the world.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on here.
Now I've got to look at Three Dog Night.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's on. Yeah, Sam, I gotta wonder what was the demographic like?
A huge group of people. I mean, it was there were several like young kids there with their parents. I mean, like 5, 6 years old.
Pretty diverse.
Yeah, I'd say it was very diverse. I mean, I was sitting beside like a 3-generation group. It was a mom probably in her mid-70s, her daughter, and then a girl probably about my age, and they were all there together.
And that's the thing with like the Beach Boys, right? It's like it is a generational band. Like
Yeah, I mean everybody, what their pants.
California Girls. Yeah. Good Vibrations. Surfing.
California Girls, they're undeniable.
That one,
Daisy
exactly.
Dukes,
Bikinis
on top. Yeah.
Mike Love sounds great on that one.
I will say, this is my contribution to this really great conversation.
Thank you.
I am not particularly a fan, really, of David Lee Roth. I love Van Halen. I have obviously
Danny Hutton.
David Lee Roth was perfect for that band. I just think as a whatever. I've always really liked his cover of California Girls.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just it was 80s, it was rock and roll, it worked out.
Just like I loved him doing I like their covers. I like Pretty Woman, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ice Cream Man.
Oh, I love Ice Cream Man. Something to keep you cool. A little ASMR in that ass. I put the ass in MR. All right, so
That's straight.
Okay, here's the thing. Sorry, we're coal mine talking here. Gotta get those bills paid. So
bathroom break.
Here's the thing, Bowie or boy. I did not get the bundle of this one. Because the bundle to me of this one was stupid. I mean, it was cute because it's part of like the theme of who Pale J is and all that kind of stuff. But the bundle, I was not about to get like a damn ski mask. I did get the bundle and pre-ordered the bundle from Parlor Greens. So what I did on the Pale J was I pre-ordered the Coal Mine exclusive, and then I saw that Seasick was doing their own exclusive, but those were signed, which was weird that they were offering signed copies through an external record store, but not through Coal Mine directly. So I ended up ordering both of those. And that's great with that. Oh, you got the Sacred Souls. Okay. I read that as Sinceres the first time, but yeah, I did not get the Sacred Souls. So good talk. And you know the story about a 3 Dog Night, right?
Yep.
Keeps you cool or
Keeps
warm.
You cool. Well, warm. Yeah. Hashtag Valley Forge,
That'll do it.
Keep the
Emma, do you know the story of a 3 Dog Night?
3 Dog Night.
That's just called 4th of July when you've had a few beers.
Yep.
Okay. Don't kick me. Don't kick me.
I'm so sorry. I have to know.
Well, no, I received. There's something waiting for me in the mail when I got home because I put that mail on hold.
Oh, let's see here. Is it? We could guess like the 6 bands it could be. I'm a son of a bitch. But now the pressure's on. Send the pressure's on. Let's see it. But it would be funny if it's one of those.
Give me a couple of them bands that you say that I like.
He just pulls out like the Dead Boys or some shit. He's just like, guys.
He's like, it could be Nick Lowe.
Yeah.
It could be
Mike
Dick
Campbell.
Stamos.
It could be. Did you already get your Dirty Knobs? No, the Dirty Knobs just came out, didn't it?
Just came out, yeah. Like a couple weeks ago, I think.
No, it came out Friday.
So that might be it, eh?
Okay, well, Hey, what did I win, by the way? Thank you.
Well, you win. So Alex showed his Decemberists. Make
Yep.
me big, boy.
Ooh, okay. Was that through his website or is that Newberry Comics?
This is his. It was pre-order, and
Yeah.
it was I think like $2 more to do that, and I was like, heck yeah! So
100%.
Plus, I got my little boy here, as I do.
So did you listen to it?
No, I came home because I tried to take my sister to her apartment once we got home because she had been in DC and there's a whole thing. So I came home, I got my mail, put it in my apartment, drove her, and then came back here and was watching our boy Steve on a lot of his yes, Richard. On his catching up on some of his videos, and so I opened it up, and yeah, it's the sign. So this is like an insert that I'm gonna frame.
That's cool.
But
No, go ahead.
I was saying I didn't have any autographs from any of the Heartbreakers. So I'm happy to have that. It's black vinyl, but I'm really happy to have Mike Campbell's signature.
Yeah.
Emma, I was gonna say we talked about this. I would be very surprised if that's not a merch option.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Newberry Comics still has maybe a couple signed things available. But I'm holding off for the show.
We were talking about that too. Like this signed Decemberists was Newberry. Like
and that's where I saw the signed Mike Campbell stuff. I didn't even know he was selling it on the website for a while.
Yeah, you'll get it live because when I saw him in November, I mean they had it by the whole band had signed it, whatever, like the poster and the CD or the vinyl.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for that, and then obviously I'm a huge guitar pick person, so that would be like the grill of the show for me.
Yeah, but Emma, don't you have second row?
I have literally second row center for $40. It was insane.
Well, yeah, he's gonna, like I told you last time, he's gonna throw that cup out there.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch it. Okay.
Well,
he is coming here. I know, Sam, you know this because you're the one who told me about it months ago, but he's coming here-ish. It's not Columbus proper. It's like 30 miles outside the city in July. I don't know. Emma, depending on what your review is, I might turn up for it. I've never actually listened to the knobs, clean or otherwise. So
they're gritty. I mean, they've got a grittier sound than Petty does.
Yeah, Zach, I have really good concert luck. I don't.
Yeah, because you go with people who just fucking lie.
Well, yeah, I mean, say it's your birthday when.
No, I mean, yeah, outside of that too.
No.
Also, Emma, this is my brother, by the way.
Hi. But no, yeah, I have really good I don't know, I can just find guitar picks very easily. Even when they throw it and it just lands in the middle of nowhere, I can find it. I don't know what it is or why, but no, the new album's really good. I streamed it. I don't have it on vinyl yet. I will. But there's a song on there called So Alive that I think is it is absolutely killer. It's such a good song. I cannot stop listening to that.
It's the opener, side B.
Yeah, it is. I feel like I almost prefer side B over side A. There's a lot of, I think, collabs that he did on side A, which is great. Like a lot of big name artists.
Graham Nash, Lucinda Williams.
Yeah. But side B for me with So Alive, and then I think there's a couple songs after that I really thought was great.
Well, it's also cool because
Hey Rob.
Hi Rob.
On the song Don't Wait Up, you have Benmont Tench. So you have Campbell, Benmont, and Steve Ferroni all on a track. So you have three Heartbreakers.
Heartbreakers, yeah. That's cool.
And Chris Stapleton, which I'm glad that him and Mike I'm glad they're kissing, but
Yeah, and I did look up the set list because I think they just started up either the tour, they just started up yesterday, but they do open with the Don't Wait Up song. So
there you go. This is for you, Sam, for my boy Kyle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I have the series that they found. It's on Blu-ray, but I have yet to finish it because I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of YouTube because I'm that guy.
Emma, not to put you on the spot here. I think what I ran into with the pick thing is you amass this collection, right? You got all these shows, you get all these picks, but what do you do with them? right?
I got you. Hold on, just give me a second.
Go ahead. Take,
Talking
you know,
to
it was like the
people.
same thing of like, I remember at one point, I forget the show, but like I caught a drumstick. And I was like, this is so cool. I mean, I was in like high school, right? I was like, this is so cool. And then like I took it home and I like put it on a table or something. I'm like, what do I fucking do with it?
Well, it's
like,
funny because that's what people say like, when they get a Grammy. Like they're like, yeah, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, I only have a couple of picks. And
Jack,
yeah,
we'll answer this in a second here. Well, I want to go around the horn and get everybody's opinion on the doors once Emma comes back with her binder.
Abierto.
Okay, so real quickly, I'll just show off some of these picks first off, and I'll show you what I do with them. I have not put these away yet, but like, here's some recent ones I haven't put away. Here's like a Pokey Lafarge one.
A who?
That I got from the recent show. This one's kind of recent. Dirty Honey. This was like a grail for me. Kip Winger's guitar pick when I saw Winger. I love Winger.
You mean his bass pick?
His bass pick. Thank you. Tommy from Kiss. Except there, like, this is when he went up. So I saw Kiss first time, and I was on the floor. And this is when he went up and like the little thing and just started like throwing picks off. So that was really lucky. I also caught a balloon, but then like someone was crying next to me because they really wanted it. So I gave it to them. But I do have a picture of me.
And you pleased that 60-year-old man.
I do. I'm one of those people. Like, I have a really cute story that I'll say for another day about like a Cheap Trick guitar pick. But yeah, I like giving stuff away too. And then I have like a crap ton of Buddy Guy picks when I saw him in December, and then I got an REO one. Okay, anyway, long story short, those are ones that I need to put in here. So I'm a weirdo, and I have like a binder of my picks.
Good gracious.
Yeah, I know, but like this shows. So not only do I collect vinyl, but I collect the picks. Like guitar picks, in my opinion, they're like the best souvenir that you can get at a show.
Good grief.
I know. So like those are all my Cheap Trick ones. Like, I have a bunch in here. I date them. I date when I get them and stuff like that. I put them in, like, one of those little coin holders.
Do you buy them a drink first?
Why? Listen, I was going to say something, but this isn't that stream. Anyway, little hawk anyway, so...
was that a hawk tua?
That was. Do you have any questions, Alex?
No, I try to avoid them.
You don't. So here's some other ones. Billy Idol and some more Ace Frehley ones. And so anyway, this is the best way, in my opinion, if you really want to get into like pick collections and stuff like that. I would recommend getting one of those little coin holders and starting a binder because it's easy.
Yeah, people are very impressed with this. Emma, have you done a video about this?
I have not, and this is something that I've wanted to do because obviously behind every guitar pick that I have comes like a story.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do like a series on my channel, but we'll see if I can get to it.
But I mean that answers the question of like what to do with them, right? Like this sounds so stupid because it's it's stupid because it's me, but like hold on, let me not highlight you. Emma, but
thank you.
I started like amassing these posters, and they were just like sitting somewhere, and I was like, well, what do I do with these? I'm like, you frame them and you hang them up. And so, but I got a handful of these posters. I cannot wait, Emma, to see what our poster is for
the Stones. Hey, Sam, listen, the Denver one wins.
Yeah, we have got to talk about this of like the Rolling Stones. They're doing a poster for each date.
Okay. Yeah.
And what was it? Atlanta is like good, but like 90% of these are like trash.
Yeah.
Like they look like
have
jokes.
You seen the Denver one?
Like no. Richard, call out to you, Richard. I don't know, like whatever they did for Denver. That is the dumbest looking horse I've ever seen in my like. Let's see if it shows up.
I don't know if it's gonna show.
I'll tilt it.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Sam, just look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, like so set lists are one of those things too, right? Like what do you do with so many well, Emma, what do you do with your set lists? You got a lot, yeah?
Yeah, so set lists I do have a lot, and I used to, because I didn't get them as often, I used to just frame them and I'd hang them up around the music room and stuff like that. But I think now, because I've like really been on the set list hunt, like I try for that every show now. I think now I might do the same thing that I do with like the binder with the picks. I might make like a binder with like a paper protector or something and put the set list.
The Lucifer with
No! The Lucifer, no!
It's so
bad, Richard.
It's so bad.
Richard, but I'm going to be honest, because it's so bad, I have been tempted to buy it. And I mean that
not that one.
No, that definitely Lucifer with lips.
That's the name of the stream.
Yeah, that's good. No, I mean, when you get so many of them, you got to put them in a binder, and same thing with the picks, right? I'll show this. Kyle, this is for you out there, man, because you're the only one who would actually have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But this was a recent thing because I was thinking about like, okay, I got these posters, but then I remembered during like a meet and greet I did, I got one of these. It was actually a pretty terrible experience because I paid for and bought meet and greet tickets and brought like, some like record, some vinyl for them to sign, that kind of thing. And then they were like, oh, like when we got there, they're like, oh, well, because of COVID, you can't actually meet the band, but you do get a signed poster and you get to talk to them from like 20 feet away. I was like, whoa, what a time that is. But it did come with this, which is a signed by the members of the Neil Morse Band. Again, looking at you, Kyle. Please say something nice in the comments. But mostly I'm here, for this motherfucker, Mike Portnoy. That's my guy. Favorite drummer of all time. But, but I like totally forgot that I had that. And so now everything is framed. I just need to command strip those hoes, as they say. I don't know who says that.
Speaking of, if anybody's interested, or did anybody care about the Joey Chestnut news on July 4th?
No, hold on. Shut the fuck. Sam, that's not important right now. But this is good.
Well,
hold on, Emma. This might be this is a comment right here.
The Stone Chicago poster should be the RS Lips eating a Portillo stock. Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, that'd be better than Lucifer with lips or whatever though.
Lucifer with lips, yeah. Well, it's fine, Kyle. It's just that you would know about it. Okay, I appreciate you. Okay, I want to go out to a comment here before we talk about Joey's chestnuts. There's some music talk here. I don't know why Sam's being like, speaking of hot dogs.
I thought he was going to say something about speaking of command strips and hose, because that's what you were talking about. So I was like, Sam, where are you going with that?
Well, I just call it. I've got one of those, and Alex took an apron off of it when he was here.
Well, okay. I have a question for Sam later that I'm going to put him on the spot because he loves when I do this type of stuff. It's kind of similar. It's in the same vein as like the whole Confederate flag thing. But before that, I want to be clear. Here we do have a music question. I would love individual answers to this. Go ahead, each of you. I want to start with Emma. Just general thoughts and on the Doors.
Casual. I have the debut. And I have a couple copies of Morrison Hotel. And I'm good with that. And I think I have one or two of the Record Store Day reissues. I would consider myself very casual. It's not that I love them, but I don't dislike them. So
yeah. Sam, what about you?
Nah.
Not your thing.
Not really my thing.
Yeah, even though they did call you the Lizard King once upon a time.
They did.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I'm a fan of the Doors, but I will say this: I think their Record Store Day titles have been trash at best. Like, I think they have. It's not like it's them per se, but like they have perfected the art of the glorified bootleg.
Yeah.
of like, oh, this is recorded by somebody's like potato in their back pocket in like a high school gym, and people are like,
Let's
oh, but
charge
it's so rare.
$45 for it. Yeah.
Yeah, right, or exactly. Or like pay you pay $100 to hear 42 demo versions of, fucking LA Woman or something. So but okay, let's see here what's going on. Thank you for that. We had to answer that question for Jack. King of the VC is here. Who makes decorative flowers out of the set lists. Love that for you.
Decorative flowers, did you say?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what the comment said. I don't know. Now, here's a question, actually, and this is what I wanted to bring up Sam for. Now, he's getting emotional already, but I wanted to bring him up for this. This is important. Hold on. Let's do this sort of thing.
What are you going to do?
Now, Sam, I got to ask you, because I know that you were instrumental in this happening, and, it's given, your life and what you're dedicated to, but I wanted to be one of the first people to ask the question of the recent legislation in the great state of Louisiana mandating that the 10 Commandments are posted in every public school. And as a man of God, I feel like you have to answer to us. Thoughts and considerations on that, sir?
Well, let me use the platform first to say I am disappointed in Joey Chestnut for not sucking on chili dogs outside the Tasty Freeze.
Because he'd be sucking on vegan dogs, right? Is that the thing?
Yeah, I didn't really. I just looked at the headline and said, "Oh, it's a shame."
You stopped your research after. Okay.
Yeah, I saw CNN had the polls and I said, "Oh, it's a shame." For ESPN that I don't have. Yes, Zach. Sam 10 Commandments, St. John. Am I answering this question?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'm just glad you're here. So that's what we do here. Well, I've been told that if you want viewers, if you want, if you want to get monetization, you have to talk about these you just have to like avoid music talk.
We gotta fight.
And then like start screaming at each other. And already like the viewers, just us mentioning that, the viewers have already gone up. So
Alex, I'm gonna need you to be quiet. I'm gonna need you to tone it down.
I'm going to go fuck yourself.
See, look, now we just gained like 2 more viewers.
Oh my God. We lost one. He's dead.
That
makes I want you all to talk amongst yourselves. I got to pee.
So anyway.
Well, let's see. What do we have? Yes, Alex is evil.
He's pretty evil. If you want viewers, just have Sam for his looks.
Rob, I'm glad that
bringing them all in, Sam.
See, Rob, you missed the beginning where I posted a video about 2 hours ago at this point. I think I'm sitting at probably a whopping maybe 10 views, maybe, if all goes well. Oh, excuse me, 9 views. Make that 9. 9 views in an hour, Rob. So
that means all of you should go watch it right now.
That's true. And, Rob, as we've talked about, as Emma knows, the female viewership in the VC is probably very, very, very low. So the looks card only gets me 9 viewers on a Beach Boys Mike Love video. So.
Hey, Rob was 3 of the 9.
Thanks for commenting, Rob. Hey, Alex.
Oh, hey, we're back. How's everybody doing?
I'm just saying that people don't like me. But anyway, I was traveling, missed out free tickets to the Teskey brothers. I want to say they were around my neck of the woods recently. And then they were also in one of the local venues as well.
I'm so dumb.
No, I'm seeing in terms of like the Americana vein, I'm seeing Old Crow in a couple of months. It's their 25th anniversary tour, and they just brought back one of their original members, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and I'm seeing John Prine's son, Zach. If you listen to Tommy Prine, you might like him. He's more indie sounding.
Now, Sam, I'll tell you this. My fun fact for you and nobody else is that I saw Old Crow Medicine Show live way back in, you obviously have a lot more history. This was 2009.
Oh, so 8. You saw them with their original guys, all the original guys.
opening for Dave Matthews. Well, it's funny that that's your impression because forever baked into my mind is Dave.
That's a lot of Virginia in that show.
Yeah, I guess so. Forever baked in my mind is Dave going like he's just so goofy. I look, no shame ever. Like I fucking love Dave Matthews and Dave Matthews Band. I think
Don't tell Glenn. Yeah.
But it is when he's up there and he's like, "Why don't y'all give it up for one old pro medicine show?" You know, and it's like that is like forever like this old crow. I can't say just like old crow medicine show. I gotta be like old crow medicine show. You know.
And then like, the only way that, yeah.
And the only way that Dave can.
Yeah. Did you give it up?
What?
You said give it up for one old crow medicine show. Did you give it up after that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of when Wagon Wheel blew up.
Well, I mean, the song, the old crow version of the song was like 04.
Was it that early? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, they're celebrating 25 years as a band. I mean, that was from their first album, which was 20 years ago. Because they just celebrated 20 years of Wagon Wheel this year.
Yeah.
And then Darius did like in 2010. But yeah. Wow. You don't like to blow the hootie?
Not in that climate for sure. What? But no, I will say I need to go see Dave again. I mean, I was there. I was lawn seats. It was at like Blossom Music Center, which is like one of the big outdoor amphitheaters. Again, it was 15, actually, like exactly almost to like the month 15 years ago. I remember it was like summer of 2009, maybe.
Wow.
And like I like not vaguely, I remember just being like blown away. Which is like, you know, I think they're one of those bands that like people will judge the band based on the fandom, right? Like it's like, I think if you took somebody who'd be like, I hate the Dave Matthews Band or whatever, and you said, okay, like they're gonna play a private show for you, like you're gonna be the only person there, you're gonna watch their 3-hour set of them just like ripping for 3 hours. Like I it's hard for me to imagine like somebody who appreciates music that's not going to be like, okay, I get it. You know, I get it. Yeah. I think it's like one of those things of like people see their fans and are annoyed by like, you know, the drunken high stupor that is like lawn seats. And, you know, it's like the same thing as like the Dead, like Grateful Dead type stuff, right? Like,
kind of like you at the Head and the Heart show, right?
What? Me? Sir, that's a great story. All right.
That's a deep cut in your life.
Speaking of which, Zach, if you're still in the comments over there, you still owe Carly and I. You need to Venmo us money for those Head and the Heart tickets from about 5 years ago.
Speaking of Head and the Heart, what is the latest on Dan Auer, these Patrick Carneys? What's the deal with them?
Well, they broke up with their management or something, and then Patrick Carney, who I said this, he's probably out there watching, so I'm sorry, Patty C. But I've always liked Dan. Patty he just has a really like punchable face. Like, you know, those people you're like he just has like that derpy.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
He looks like that fucking horse from Denver on the Stones concert. Tell me, as somebody with a Photoshop thing, I need you to find me Patrick Carney from the fucking Black Keys and that goddamn horse from a Rolling Stones thing and do a mashup. I need a side by side.
He's like if Rivers Cuomo was in an accident.
Yeah, so he had went and said he was like more coming soon, but we got fucked or whatever. You know,
that's me with my channel right now.
That's right. See, you know, you both will understand how far my influence goes just by that comment. Just sir. Yeah, Zach's getting his receiver fixed. It's tough. I get it.
It's golden receiver. Yeah.
Okay. God. So yeah, who knows? But
so it was just management. Like, are they saying that they're gonna redo?
Well, they said they're rebooking the American tour to like smaller theaters and stuff or something. I don't know.
Well, speaking of such things, those that follow my man Bobby Z, as in Bobby Dillon, the Outlaw Tour Festival just started last night with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and Alison Krauss, and Willie's son Lucas. And Willie just put out a statement 2 days ago that he was feeling ill, so he's canceling like 5 or 6 of the dates for his set. But Lucas and his guys are doing Willie songs. But Bob, again, this is the first show outside of Bob's Rough and Rowdy Waste tour, which he was on for the last 3 years. So everybody was expecting that he was going to change the set, which he did. He does not do a single song off of that album. He did a bunch of covers, including Little Queenie by Chuck Berry. He opened with a Willie Dixon song. He had a Fleetwood's song, like the Fleetwoods, not Fleetwood Mac. And then he did like 4 songs from the Tempest album. So it's very interesting for the Dylan fans. And
so everybody hated it.
Probably, yeah, because then you have Robert Plant singing, these like rockabilly songs with Alison Krauss, and then he does like Battle of Evermore and rock and roll, and then they're like, oh, that's it. So like there were no hits played in the whole, like the biggest hit that Dylan did was Simple Twist of Fate. And like, I mean, I think he only did 2 songs from the 20th century that were his, and then he did a bunch of covers from the 50s, and then stuff from Tempest. So if anybody was liking such things.
Thanks, Kyle. That's good.
Dang.
Oh man. I don't know. Richard, that's a good job for you. Go ahead and give me the side by side of Patrick and Lucifer. That'd be great. Sam, what's next on your concert list? Anything?
It should be, let me see on my old Rolodex here. I am seeing, Beach Boys was kind of like didn't realize that was going to happen. I guess it's going to be Tommy Prine on July 14th in Charlottesville.
And that's gonna be at the same place that Twigs played, yeah.
Yeah. And then Old Crow I'm seeing August 10th. And those are the only 2 I have on dock right now. So nothing. And then I have ELO, on October 12th. So right now, just 3 shows lined up.
Emma, what about you? What's your concert schedule looking like?
I know I'm seeing Mike Campbell soon, and then I'm seeing the Stones, and then I'm seeing Big Star Quintet, Jody Stevens, and a bunch of other guys.
Is it Mike Mills in that group that you're seeing?
He has been. I don't know if he's going to be in this show.
Okay.
But he has been, yeah. And then maybe Lemon Twigs and Indie, and maybe Dirty Honey and stuff. So there's some maybes, but there's also some like for sure tickets bought type things.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the Twigs again in December, but I don't know if I want to drive all the way to Richmond to see them.
Was that like 3 hours for you, Sam?
Yeah, and some change probably. Plus it's Richmond, which there can be traffic, which is frustrating. Yeah.
What about you, Alex? What are you seeing?
Well, Stones in a week. Hooray. Should be lit. And I guess then Big Star Quintet like 2 weeks from then.
Popping me.
I know. It's wild. Like connect the dots. And then I'm trying to think. There's a couple here. First week of July is Kendra Morris, who is a soul singer on Coal Mine. She'll be here in Columbus the first week of July. And then in August, I think the shows I'm eyeing are Ava Brothers.
Hey.
And I'll probably, I don't know, I forget if it's August or September, but I'll check out. My buddies and I typically make it like a yearly thing to go see Coheed and Cambria. We love us some Coheed. And so they're playing again. They're playing with Primus, which should be very interesting. I'm not a Primus fan per se, although I truthfully have never really like dove in. But yeah, that's on the immediate schedule, I guess.
That's a lot of tunes.
A lot of tunes. Get that dirt.
Is he calling somebody a dirty honey. Like, you're dirty, honey. You know,
You
put your commas
dirty
wherever you want. Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, Dirty Honey's where it all began for me, you know. So
she's as sweet as Tupelo honey.
And she's dirty.
Yeah.
That from good old John Nato or whatever his name is, Emma. He's a great player, man. He's a really good player.
It's cool. Justin.
Huh?
Yeah.
Justin.
Oh, it was okay. It came from the bassist then.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Love that. Love it. I don't know. Nice pick.
Alex, you've been pumping out the content because I've just been catching up on stuff since I've been gone. I didn't really watch any YouTube.
A lot of videos.
You know, it's you put it off for enough time and then you get like a streak of like 3 days where you're like, I guess I got to do it all now. So it's just it's just doing it. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't see how many thousands of views I got on my recent video yet. Hold on.
It's a lot of
very important.
on my face.
Oh, dang, I lost a subscriber. You hate to see it. That's right. That's what we go for here. For sure. Let's see. Alex, did you get that new 45 from the Sinceres? I just remember it was sincerely yours and it sounds amazing. It's like Johnny. I do not buy the 45s. I have to cut myself off at somewhere, and buying the 45s is that place. I could not. They put out so many, and I love that they do. I think it's the coolest thing, but I cannot see myself going down that dangerous financial path for sure. That's a great question. I actually, I messaged him earlier and I was like, hey, like Sam and I might be chatting, Emma might be joining later, like if you want to jump on and like, sort of thing. But if he's free, but I don't think he saw the message yet. I don't know. Have you talked to him much, Sam?
No, he sent me a link to a song or something not too long ago. Well, he tried to send me a link. I think he had been visiting his granddaughter and he was teaching her he was like playing banjo for her, and unfortunately, I couldn't see the video, and I think he got mad that I couldn't see it because he sent it from his phone and not a link.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's doing good. He's pumping out a bunch of content and is enjoying life post Wednesday night stream that Alex and I do. So,
yeah,
But other than that, I think he's good. I don't know when he's coming to Florida again. I haven't seen Glenn in person in well over a year. Probably closer to 2 years now.
I feel like he hasn't been down there in a little while. Yeah.
Well, he's been the last 2 times he went, he flew. But I am trying, and Alex, you messaged me earlier in the week. I am trying to get to Mike's MGK Boston in July.
What do we need to do to make this happen, Sam?
I don't know. I have a place to stay, and it'll come down to some life things that I have going on right now, with what the next month might bring. But I mean, in terms of like the ability to do it, I have that time free. The question is, paying for it, getting up there. It's a haul if I take the train. It's a haul if I take a plane. It's a haul if I take my main. Listen to Cole Train.
Yeah, doesn't your car have like 400,000 miles on it or something?
I just hit 2. My sister was in the car driving, and I was trying to get her to look at the odometer. She's like, "What's the odometer?" But it's
the odometer. Damn it! Yeah,
as Kramer said, it's pronounced thermometer. It's 209,000 miles as of today and some change.
Do you get a train though from where you're at up there?
Yeah, Amtrak goes from here straight to just outside of right to Boston.
Wow.
It's like 115 round trip, but it's like 17 hours.
Well, you got a lot of listening time.
Nothing like sitting next to Bubba and his wife Betty and
yeah,
not being able to fall asleep.
No, I'm glad I figured out. I was able to make do the trip on like miles and air.
Yeah, I figured you had some FFMs, as they say.
Yeah. Yes, I was able to do the flight on miles, and then had some like hotel points that I was able to utilize. But
are you still going in with Marsha and Trevor?
No, it sounds like we're all doing, because we tried to get like an Airbnb and then it didn't work out. So I think we're all just in like separate hotels and stuff. Because the other thing too is like, I mean, Trevor and I were talking about like going in on like a hotel together or something. I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what, like I love Trevor to death. I'm too old to be sharing hotel rooms with people. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, you're welcome on my couch anytime, there, fella.
Well, it's different, to be fair. So
because I provide you with goodies from my freezer.
Well, yeah, I mean the local courtyard doesn't have clam strips, so
or Mac Daddy's down the street.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's that's for real. Let's catch up on some things here. Okay, well, I don't know if King of the VC is familiar, but actually I've been seeing this a lot online. Sam, I'm curious if you've had any exposure to this whole thing, or your thoughts on it as our resident petty enthusiast.
I will probably get it. However, I did hear Margot Price, who is kind of like a modern. She obviously pulls from the Linda Ronstadt vein, and she looks at like Linda and people like Tom Petty. She looks at John Prine, like those are her influences. She's kind of like in that modern, like kind of psych country style. Really cool. She's not mainstream. She kind of flips mainstream country off. She did a version of a Tom Petty deep cut called Ways to Be Wicked with Mike Campbell, and it's fantastic. And he's singing harmony. It's really, really good. Benmont Tench is also on the record on a track with somebody, and Chris Stapleton is on it as well. He does the song I Should Have Known It from Mojo. And Lucas and Willie Nelson sing the song Angel Dream. All of them have been fantastic. Dolly Parton does Southern accents. It's pretty good. But then you also have, you have like your Dierks Bentley and people like that. And old boy Dierks, he does American Girl playing Tom Petty's guitar, which when I saw the music video, I about retched. And then you have, like I think like Winona Judd is on it, and Lainey Wilson, who are like more in like the mainstream thing. But so like it's gonna, like, I know for a fact half of the record is gonna be trash for what I like, because it's a lot of modern country singers who I'm sure the record company were like, hey, this is gonna be some good exposure. Jump on this because Tom Petty fans are gonna be buying it because Mike Campbell and Benmont Tench are on it. But at the same time, it's like Mike Campbell and Benmont Tench are on it. So
I'm gonna need like a Morgan Wallen doing Mary Jane's Last Dance,
Yeah, and then he'll do it, and then throw out some racial slurs, and then throw a chair off a bar. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm gonna get it. I don't want to buy it full price. I will get it, but I can already tell you I'll probably listen to it a couple of times. It'll be for like the completest in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, tribute albums can definitely be iffy.
Did Cheap Trick have any? I mean, I know if they've done, they did the Peppers cover album, but like, have they had an album dedicated to them?
That's actually a great question. Nothing official, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I semi-draw I guess those things don't like appeal to me as much. I remember a record store day several years ago, there was a tribute to Badfinger release. Yeah. And it was like a bunch of big, huge bands doing Badfinger songs. And I was like, ooh, I'm a big Badfinger fan, blah, blah, blah. And I think I did like listen to it, or like I streamed it or something. And I was like, I think I just like Badfinger doing Badfinger.
See, here's another thing.
Like
another song from this Petty album is my boy Marty Stewart. And he does I Need to Know, not the Mark Anthony tune. Tell me, baby girl. Which is Alex's line. But they do I Need to Know.
I do like the baby girl. Okay, keep going.
But that's a solid thing. But I do have, our boy Matthew Street about a year or so ago, he did. He talked about some Buddy Holly tribute albums, which I have, which are very good. I have 3 that he talked about, and they're all fantastic. They're all slightly different. One of them is more Americana sounding. One of them is straight ahead, rock. You have people. Marty Stewart is on. He's on one of them, but like Steve Earle is on it. And then groups, like Elvis Costello and, people like that are on there as well. And like I have, John Prine, he has several, Bob Dylan has a couple. It's like I have them, I enjoy them, but then you also get like a track or two that are almost like unbearable to listen to. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to put Emma on the spot, but I think it's interesting because I know she's done some videos about it and stuff like that, but I think like the work that like Gem Records is doing and like those sort of releases are super cool because like it's label focused. So it's like, well, here's the list of artists on our label who are paying tribute to this very specific, not niche. They're popular bands, but like, here's our list of label artists who are doing
artists. Yeah. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see like a Rick Nielsen one or something.
Yeah. Oh, well, Vagina must have just joined us.
Sorry you're late.
That's funny. It's good.
Yeah, I did. I've texted a couple of friends of mine about it. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Jim Keltner is backing Bob now on this tour. Obviously Keltner's played with, everybody as one of the session guys. He played with the Wilburys, so it's, you kind of have Bob reuniting with one of his Wilburys guys. He played on a lot of those Dylan records. He played on George Harrison. He's on All Things Must Pass. He's toured with Ringo, but he's in it. And then Bob's pedal steel player, well, he's multi-instrumentalist. Donnie Herron is gone after 17 years. So that was a big change. And that actually the guy that was drumming on the Rough and Rowdy Ways tour, at least the last year, was a guy named Jerry Pentecost, who was in Old Crow for their last 2 records. And then he left the group. So it's kind of neat. I've seen Bob with him twice. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Keltner is playing with him. Keltner himself's like 80 or 81.
That's crazy that he's still playing.
Yeah. Well, so was what's his name? Gadd. Steve Gadd is playing with James Taylor still.
Yeah.
I've seen that tour.
Are there any good tribute albums?
Yeah. There were some that I listened to some of those Buddy Holly ones quite a bit. And a couple of the John Prine ones. I know it gets kind of fuzzy because like there was that. Emma probably knows this one, The Art of McCartney, which Cheap Trick is on. Like that's one like I'll listen to it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty good, and then I forget about it for 5 years, and I listen to it like, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll tell you one of my favorite Cheap Trick covers ever. A song that they covered is Cold Turkey. So good.
Was that
I like it better than the original, and that's not me like throwing bias in there in my opinion, I don't think. But
what Emma's saying is she doesn't like the Dead.
Yes, thank you.
She said the same thing about the Big Star cover of In the Street.
Cover of,
I still prefer that 70s song over In the Street. But the She and Him Beach Boys tribute album is really good too.
That is very good. Melt Away. Yeah, that's a tasty little tribute.
Zooey Deschanel's great. She is.
That's a solid one. I have that one on vinyl and CD.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look over here. Yeah, again, like with this Tom Petty thing, I don't know. I'll listen to some Tom Petty radio when I was stealing my parents' Sirius XM while I was with them the last week. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are great. Vaginal. Those are both really good.
All right, I'm gonna hop off, guys. Have a great rest of your stream. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, cool. See you, Emma.
Bye.
Bye.
What was I just thinking about? Did you ever listen to anything like McCartney 3 Reimagined or any of that kind of stuff?
No, because like that was like when like that was coming out like a year, like less than a year after McCartney 3 came out, and like I listened to like the Beck song and that was cool, but like that was like a reimagining of a record, kind of like again, like when Cheap Trick, to use them to continue talking about them.
Yeah.
With their Sgt. Pepper record. And like it was it I mean, I know like was it George Benson who had his Beatles album?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the Abbey Road album all the way, but it was the Abbey Road cover, which is more up your alley.
Well, I appreciated the Booker T and the MGs doing Macklemore Avenue, which was their sort of
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, tribute to Abbey Road. Yeah,
I think Benson did one too. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And John, I know you don't. Do you listen to John Pizzarelli? I mean, I know he's more vocal jazz, but he's a great guitar player as well.
Yeah.
He did a McCartney record, and I think like Diana Krall was on there. Stuff that you're not. I mean, you'll admit you don't.
I'm not hip to.
You're not a hip cat.
No, you knew that. You knew that already.
I did. Yeah. Look at Dan. Though,
well, I mean, something that the McCartney 3 Reimagined thing you were just alluding to this was so interesting because like it was released at like the same time, basically
7 or 8 months.
It felt that way, and so like when I would like see it in stores or like online or something, like I had to like double check. I was like, wait, is this McCartney 3 or is this a tribute to McCartney?
Because there were like 35,000 variants of that record as it was, but
right. And then it was like, ooh, McCartney 3 is like $8, and they're like, no, that is the tribute to McCartney 3.
You want to hear Beck sing this random new Paul McCartney song? Like,
yeah. Or
whoever else is on. I don't even remember. I mean, I know like the Beatles people jumped on it because it had McCartney attached to it, but
right.
I don't know. That's weird.
I did not even know that the Talking Heads came out with one.
I didn't either.
I mean, and I guess like it maybe depends of like some of these comps where it's like a tribute to Brian Wilson, where it's all these bands or artists doing some kind of thing versus a band that just does a covers album, right? Like, I feel like that is such like a normal thing for like a later career band that's meeting some kind of like label requirement. I mean, this goes back to like thinking about like David Bowie releasing Pinups at like the height of his like stardom, right? Like it's fine, but it's it's a covers album, or like you think about like rock and roll music or whatever, all that kind of stuff, right?
Well, then like what do people start talking about when it's like, do you want the band to do a note for note retelling of it, or like the Jim Record stuff, like they intentionally will do it as a tribute, like we're gonna sing the song but we're gonna fully do it in our style. We might do it like for example, like the Brian Wilson album that they did a couple of years ago, they did a lot of like medley, like incorporate like a lot of different Beach Boys songs into the song that they were officially covering,
right?
But like do you want to hear like a note for note version? Like do you want to hear I don't even know. Like do you want like Beck? Do you want to hear Beck could do McCartney note for note? Like,
right?
McCartney.
And it works both ways. And I just want to like call it. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people will do like it's a label, requirement. Like, they're due one more record. Like, let's just crank out this covers album or whatever. But I mean, that's your thing, right? It's like if you do it note for note, then you're unoriginal and you just pay, blah blah blah. If you stray away from it, then you're not respectful to the original. And you didn't do it as good as the, it's like all these different things, right? It's kind of like
But is there a tribute album that you listen to?
No, fuck no. Why would I listen to a tribute album when I can just listen to the artist? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I didn't know about that. What's that one called? I know that GA20 has that Hound Dog Taylor record that they do, which is pretty sweet. But I could see obviously Monophonics doing a great job with that. Joan Jett has an album cover called The Hit List. Favorite Joan Jett record. She does a cover of the Kinks' Celluloid Heroes. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I think like to me it's like some of these covers albums that come out, it's like I in a lot of ways I think it comes down to the artist and more importantly the songs that you pick to do. Like don't do a song that's been done a gazillion times. Like I think there's respect in like the deeper cuts or like I don't think it got great reviews and I don't think people look at it too highly, but I don't care. I've always appreciated Def Leppard did a covers album in 2006.
Yeah.
And, it's all Bowie and T-Rex and Roxy Music. And like, it's that type of stuff. It's not just like it's all these songs that you would rarely hear on the radio.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I know. I was like adding you there, Rob. I know that's your favorite Lennon record.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I get excited for these albums because, like, I see like an artist who I love, like, doing a song that I'm like, oh, that's so cool to hear. Marty Stewart do a Tom Petty song, but then I listen to the full album and I'm like, I don't need to hear, Winona Judd do, Free Falling or whatever she does. Like, I'm not gonna want to listen to that. And then
exactly.
Well, now I'm out $15 from this album. That I'm like, it's cool to have these 2 songs that I like. But then I'm like, yeah, what else do I want to do with this?
Yeah, Blue and Lonesome was good.
But that's not even like a tribute. That's a covers album.
Yeah, and again, there is a difference there.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I guess like the other thing too is like, going down the path of covers and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think there's like, you think about like Manfred Mann doing Blinded by the Light, or Jimi Hendrix doing Along the Watchtower, right? Like these complete like reinterpretations and reimagining of the songs, right? Like,
and do you think that helped because they were so close in years to the original?
I guess I didn't really think about that. I think with both of those, though, because of how popular they were, people associated those songs with those artists that cover. Like, I don't think a lot of people were like, oh, like, Blinded by the Light, the Bruce song, like, unless they were like, but I think again, like, neither of those songs were huge, It's not like Hendrix was out there covering Blowing in the Fucking Wind,
Wow.
I misspoke. I meant fucking in the blowing wind, So, but that was always the thing, right? I think a lot of people are still like, wait, Blinded by the Light? Like, that's a Bruce song,
Yeah, like I've told people much older than me, like, it's a Bruce song. Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like Turn the Page. That's another like prime example, which I know you're
a Metallica song.
That's right, yeah. And then Bob Seger ripped it off.
Oh, yeah. I know nothing of Moondog Matinee, but the funny thing, I don't know if this is.
Oh, did you hear about Joey Chestnut and his Moondogs?
Jesus, that's about 3 too many Joey Chestnuts references. So Rob, I don't know if Zach, my brother Zach, is still in the chat, but this just happened today. I was on a call with him because I was running out to a few record stores or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I was like, what are you looking out for? I'm more than happy to pick you something up, whatever." And he was always like, yeah, talking about the band, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, my favorite band song is Atlantic City.
From the 90s, yeah.
And well, okay, so the joke was, I was like, Atlantic City, what the fuck band song is that? And he starts singing it. He's like, we're on the phone. And he's like, oh, in a motor, that's a fact. And I was like,
the Chicken Man.
I was like, the Bruce Springsteen song? And he's like, no, man, it's the band. And we like. It's like we got this great like back and forth. I'm like, oh no, man, that's the band. And I'm like, I was like, that's a Bruce. It's called Atlantic City. Like, but then he was like, oh no, it's off their '93 album Jericho. And it was like, no, that's okay. But all that to say, I've never listened to Moondog Matinee. I have no idea what's on there. Like, is it like more like standards or like what?
It's like 50s. It's like a lot of 50s stuff.
Oh, really?
But they do that song, Ain't Got No Home, which is really good. I ain't got no home. Yeah. Woo.
In fact, Mike, when I saw KK's Priest several months ago, and that was with Ripper singing with him, this was a part of their set. And I mean, the song just fucking smokes. But yeah, I mean, it's like, Judas Priest covering Fleetwood Mac. It's almost like Judas Priest getting their name from a Bob Dylan song,
Yeah.
Sam, you a Guy Clark fan?
I don't have any of his stuff. I do have the Steve Earle tribute album called Guy. I mean, I have nothing against Guy Clark. There are so many of those like Texas songwriters like Townes Van Zandt, Rodney Crowell that I want to get into. Like I've just slowly started getting into Townes Van Zandt, and like Guy Clark has like an equally as impressive career, equally as talented. But I'm like, I don't know how much of that stuff I can soak in and really make it mean something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. More stuff on covers. The only time a cover is good is when you're sleeping. Well done. Yeah, I don't know, right? Like, but you also think about, okay, let's talk about one of your favorite bands, right? You're like, do you want to? You know, I mean, the Byrds made a fucking killing on covers.
Yeah.
You know, you could argue different time.
Yeah.
You know, that's like when it was like cool. But I was like, even thinking of like, I was listening to like their greatest hits the other day, and I was like, their greatest hits, half of these are not even theirs.
A bunch of Bob Dylan songs, and yeah.
Or when it gives like my favorite is like when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it's written by, oh, it's a Bob Dylan song. Oh, it's a Bob Dylan song. You're like, oh, this one's not a Bob Dylan song, but it's like an old, whatever the phrase is that they use, like
Traditional.
Yeah. Traditional, right? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like a song like that one.
Bang.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, because like you have like that compilation that came out, like Birds Sing Dylan. You have like 14 Dylan songs that they covered their whole career. Like even when it was just old Jimmy McGuinn, these Rogers. But, yeah, it's good to see you, man.
So wait, did they put out a whole album called like The Birds Do Dylan?
It was a comp.
But that's like 3 albums.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is called The Birds Sing Dylan, also known as Mr. Tambourine Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that Peebs?
It's okay. I think there's something wrong with my refrigerator. It's not as cold as it should be, is what I'm trying to get at here.
That's a shame.
You're gonna need to entertain the crowd here in a second. Got to do a little wee wee.
All right. So for you going up to? Oh, okay.
Yep. I told you.
I appreciate you leaving yourself not on mute. There's a comp by the Dead called Postcards of the Hanging. They're selling postcards of the hanging. They're paying the passports brown. That would be a good comp, Vaginal. That would be one that I think that I would get into the Dead a little bit more. Because, I mean, I know that they do Desolation Row. They do Love Minus Zero. They do Watchtower. I think they do Watchtower. I think they do. Did they ever do Mighty Quinn? I think they did Mighty Quinn. I think Visions of Johanna, maybe. Yeah, and that's the thing. Joe Cocker was kind of like in the vein of like the Sinatras and the Dean Martins and the Bing Crosbys, where he was there for the voice, or Linda Ronstadt for that matter, to put him with like more of a peer. Yeah, he made his whole career on Cocker's. What would you think if I sang out of tune? That was more like Bruce Springsteen singing. And then he also did, like Bye Bye Blackbird. And didn't Joe Cocker also sing? No, that was Eric Clapton. May You Never by John Martin. May you never lay your head.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. I don't think we're live anymore. I'm just talking.
Okay. This obviously what you're getting at. This is a great point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll just talk.
I mean, but that was like, I feel like that is sort of similar to like what we would see later with like a lot of these singers who Barry Manilow he wrote, but they were never hits.
He wrote the songs.
No, he didn't.
Johnston. Yeah.
He did.
It was old Bruce Springsteen, Beach Boy. She got everything she needs. She's an artist. She don't look back. You invited me on this.
I'm running out of options. Where's Jason?
Let's turn this into a point fingers at Jason. So sorry guys, I'm busy. I see what you got there. Don't be hiding that under the camera. That's for Rob.
That's for Rob. You're still out there, brother.
Brother. How old's that jaunt?
It's old. It's so old. I got to shake the bottom of it. You know.
That's what a lady said to me one night. No, but no. What was I going? I was going to say something really completely unrelated. Do you ever? This is just between
before you go in there. This is a great point, Mike. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the other thing too. But I mean, you're also you're talking about an incredible, amazing guitarist in Frank Marino, and you know what I mean, like doing that sort of jam thing. You know, I mean, even like he brought him up earlier, like Dave Matthews Band does a great All Along the Watchtower. It sounds nothing like. And it doesn't sound anything like the original. It doesn't sound anything like Jimmy's. Like very different, but of course it's like 30 minutes long too. Of this ripping sauce. Go ahead, Sam.
You ever use Oragel?
What?
Have you ever used Oragel for a cold sore or something? I'm just asking.
I've never used it for anything.
Oh well, you're missing out. It numbs the lips and it's just insane. It's a sensation. All that to say, we were talking about your old hoop tee. I found some Oragel that I used on vacation from 2014. That's my story.
Let's get back to the comments here. No, I do not, Dan. I do not. For a moment there, I thought I saw the Chick-fil-A sauce girl.
What?
What?
Is there a girl?
Who's the Chick-fil-A sauce girl?
You mean Wendy's? You mean Wendy's? She's the only female I know in the fast food business. Whoo, me. That was funny. You didn't answer you need to try some Oragel. You should go and get you some. I'll send you some VCLT.
What has happened with
Joey Chestnut?
Joey Chestnut. Listen, let me show you something, Sam.
Some Joey Chestnut.
I don't know why I prefer my hoop tee on draft.
Is there some sediment?
Oh, there is at the bottom.
Oh
yeah.
Yep, that's like Arnold Palmer, but that's What are you showing me though? Like, what do you even see? How thick it is?
No, just how fucking gross it looks like poop water.
It's Arnold Palmer. Yeah.
Hey, to brighter days.
I hope not. It's too hot. Oh, I thought you were gonna see.
You thought I was gonna. Oh, that's still so fucking good, man.
What is that ABV on that?
It's like 5. Not even like 5.
It's 5.
It'd be 5.
Oh gosh, Dan.
Dude, okay. I would fuck a burger right now.
So the burger that I had before the show yesterday, you would be all over this jaunt. It was called the breakfast melt or something.
Okay.
It was the burger was a sausage patty. Okay, let that sink in with some sharp cheddar, some bacon bits.
Is it sausage burger?
Some egg.
So it was a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, but it was like a full size burger, but it was sausage.
Yeah. How'd you eat it?
I didn't eat the bun.
Oh, ooh, little Atkins over here, senor.
Yeah. And the fries were a little burnt. But other than that,
fucking great restaurant.
they were covered in Old Bay, so I was real thirsty during the show. I bought my $3 water, drank it in like 5 seconds, and saw Mike Love. So that was my night last night.
Man.
See,
that's depressing.
You drinking that makes me want another one of these summer shans, but I know that if I drink one more, that I'm gonna be
Yeah, but don't you have like Tums on tap over there, ready to go?
I have stronger stuff than Tums right now because of that issue that I had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the peanut gallery is getting a treat.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah, who do we have on here? Who do we have?
We got Dan. We got Richard. We got Mike's got the spins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What day are you getting up there to the Massachusetts?
Thursday.
Thursday. When are they doing when are they going to Purchase Street?
I think Friday.
So see, I was looking at
doing like Purchase Street during the day, and then I think what I've been told, I don't really know, is that Anthony is doing something on Friday.
Oh boy, that's a lot of.
So he is doing like a pre-party to the party.
Is that going to make Mike sad? That we're going to get burped?
No, I would assume that Mike will probably be there.
Do you worry that you won't like any of the people there?
No, I think I have a pretty good idea of the people I like and don't like already.
And both will be at that party.
So I know, I think I know the people I'm going to vibe with.
Well, if I'm there, you can restate your opinion.
Thank you. It's great. Question for the panel. Sam, I'll let you answer first.
No.
I usually don't. I might jump in and say hi to the people, but I typically do not watch much.
I'm usually not up.
Yeah. So. Just,
yeah.
I don't know. I like, the videos I watch are typically more related to things like, music and records and shit. So that is like what I try to stick to. But
That's why you avoid my channel.
That's why I avoid your channel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you just don't want to hear about mandolin butt crack.
Me and everybody else avoid.
Apparently.
As it were.
Oh wow. The question is, Jack, why?
It's, good for you. I wish I had a reason to wake up.
That's why we're here on a Saturday night. Yeah. I am not up at that time. And even like, getting up early, I usually don't have time to watch things if I do have a reason to be up that early. But good for you. People that enjoy it. Alex probably gets behind this too. Like, I have fallen so behind in video watching. Like, there's just so much out there, and it's hard for me to follow everybody, and even the people that I'm subscribed to, I don't always follow. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Sam, you got a long list of like 6 subscribers that you got to keep. You're really sweet people that you're subscribed to.
Yeah, that's why my birth has not grown.
Yeah,
and that's BERTH.
No, Mike, I actually watched that. I'll let you know that I did watch that. I'm just not really a Motley Crue fan per se. But I mean, the problem is, Mike, is here's my purely unprofessional opinion, is that like I think there's a valid argument that Motley Crue has become a novelty band. And so when new music gets released, it's like, do people, you know what I mean? Like, they're out there parading on stage and kind of, like doing their thing. Who knows what's going on in Vince's world? And so it's like when they release a new song, it's like, do we even, it's like when Kiss releases a new song. It's like, do I even like, do I even take it seriously? I don't know. Like, I guess that's where it is. I mean, like, obviously glad that you're digging the song and stuff like that. And like, I like a ton of Motley Crue songs, but it's just like, they're an interesting kind of situation. But I certainly do. Sam, you're not a discogger. A cogger?
I have a Discogs, and I don't have half my collection in, but when I think about it, I do go into Discogs little kind of spurts. I have a good portion done, and I've been sure to tell my family that my records are not worth $1 a piece, but that's not my problem if I ever leave this earth early or late.
Easy there. That sounds terrible. Actually, this is a good point, Mike, because I saw Crew last year twice, and like I think John 5 is brilliant, right? But here's what the weird. I'm going to use big time word saying. You ready? Here's the weird the juxtaposition here is that you have John 5, who I think kind of came to prominence. He was like the guitarist maybe in Marilyn Manson's band, I think.
Yeah.
But he is an insane guitarist. Like he is like doing clinics. Like he is like a teacher. Like he is like the whatever you want to call it, like virtuoso, clinician, prophet, all of the things. Unfortunately, that doesn't pay. But you know what does pay is being the guitarist for Motley fucking Crue when they're playing in stadiums for an entire summer for multiple years in a row. And so it's one of the interesting things because I think John 5 is doing an incredible job. There is part of me that wonders like if John 5 is having those like internal conversations where he's like, you know what? I don't know if I really love this, but like I've never made more. like
yeah.
I'm like comfortable like financially because like unfortunately what I normally do just doesn't sell. Oh, you're totally right. Rob Zombie is who I actually meant when I said Manson, but good that was both of those.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, so it's like one of those things of, I mean, this is a conversation in its own right, but yeah, I mean, similar, right? Like I think you have a lot of these artists who it doesn't matter how quote unquote good you are. And I think, in specific instruments, especially guitar, right? Like the act of like the guitar virtuoso, like what does that get you if you can't write a pop song?
Right.
Like you might be the most impressive player in the entire world for the 30 people in the high school gym who are watching you, like that. I think that's like one of the, such a fascinating conversation that I love thinking about is like the intersection between talent, all that type of stuff, and how that intersects with like, well, at the end of the day, like you got to write a pop song.
Like, what would Eddie Van Halen be if he was like in a like a sludge metal band? Like he wouldn't be Eddie Van Halen because I mean
Eddie Van Sludger.
Yeah.
I mean, but like at the end of the day, you're right. Like, I mean, Eddie Van Halen. I think so many guitar players will point to Eddie as like one of the great. It's like they'll put him in the same conversation in terms of what he did for the instrument as Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah.
But you're right in the sense of, but like Eddie is nothing without Van Halen, the band,
right?
And you could even argue like Van Halen is nothing as a band without Michael Anthony playing bass and with great backing vocals and with the amazing hooks that they had. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's like such a great point of like, when we talk about like who are the greatest guitarists of all time, what we usually are asking are who are the most popular bands and who play guitar for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like people might say George Harrison, but I wouldn't necessarily put George Harrison in the top 10.
No, yeah, I mean, I think
he's a Beatle. And see, I've been in a conversation before too. Like, who was the last? And I mean, you're a prime person to ask this question too. Who was the last, or is there a guitar player right now that is changing the instrument the way that a Hendrix did, or a Clapton, or not even a Clapton, a Van Halen, or like Robert Johnson with the blues guitar?
I think where we're going now, at least not in mainstream music at all, but I think like where the guitar nerds are going is with the I can't think of his first name. His last name's like Henson. It's not Jim Henson.
Halfway up the stairs is the stair where I sit.
I forget his first name, but Henson with this band like Polyphia. Like the guitar has become a it's a lot of this. It's a lot of like rhythm. It is like it is a complete different way, but it's also like the thing that like an 8-year-old can jump on YouTube and learn how to do more than they would in any sort of guitar lesson in their local community.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been such a conversation of like but I think this is an important point, right? Of like any 10-year-old who's at home right now can look up on YouTube and learn how to play guitar and learn how to play every single Eddie Van Halen solo note for note perfectly.
Yeah.
But I don't think they know how to write a song.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, what's a hook? Or you know what I mean? Sort of thing. And so I think that's kind of where it's at now. And I think that's what technology has done in a certain way is, you know, people have become clinicians at what they do. And and technology has lent itself to, I mean, think about like back in the day, you hear these stories of like these old school guitarists that like would put on their Led Zeppelin record or their Jimi Hendrix record or their Iron Maiden record. They would put on a record and they would slow it down and they would learn solos by ear and they would learn the difference between what a bend was versus what a slide was. You know what I mean? Like it really is like the journey. It's the journey, not the destination, opposed to like now where it's like, oh, I could just log into YouTube and watch somebody play this and figure it all out. But I don't know how that translates to songwriting or composition either.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at people like the guys that are like taking the guitar new limits, like Jack White was doing, 15 years ago. But then you're like, oh, well, Jack White was just pulling from the blues guys. Like, are people looking at Jack White thinking like he has taken the guitar and turned it on its head yet again?
Right.
And even like, you're seeing like all this stuff. Like, I mean, that was Eddie, years ago. And even some of those classical guys like Django were doing that stuff.
Yeah. It's like so funny too of like, the other thing I think is that, especially in our quote unquote like YouTube community, like the VC, like for the most part, not everybody, because I'm like pointing out a comment that was just made here with like a Chet Atkins, right? Like I'm not like a Chet Atkins fan. Like I don't know any of his records. I don't listen to any of his music, but the man was a fucking like insane.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. And I guess what I'm getting at with like looking at different genres of music is like, I don't think Chet Atkins can play like Eddie Van Halen.
No.
But I don't think Eddie Van Halen can play like Chet fucking Atkins.
No. And
I mean, it's like one of those things of like, wow, like that is, technically the most complicated and, complex thing I've ever seen. But if you were in a bar and there was a slow blues jam going on, would you be able to fuck around with it? Or are you just going to go over there and widdly it?
Well, John Mayer. Yeah. That's the thing. Cause like with that, you can like, you take somebody like Clapton and I have opinions on Clapton's. I'm not talking politics or anything. I have opinions on that too, but his playing to me, I have opinions on that. I'll save it. But yeah, he's pulling from the blues guys, and like, is what Clapton did something that revolutionized the guitar? I don't necessarily think so. He was very, very good, maybe the best at his craft, but he, to me, did not turn the guitar on his head like a Hendrix. Who I'm not a Jimi Hendrix fan, but he turned the guitar on its head.
Well, yeah, right. And then that becomes like the other question. That's why I always push back with like, people who make lists or when we comment on lists that are given, because it's like, first of all, someone has to tell me what you do. Like to just say like the 100 greatest guitarists. Well, someone needs to define to me how we define greatest. Yeah. Like, I'm sure it's a combination of a lot of things about influence and impact and all those different things, right? But also, like, I play devil's advocate in a lot of ways too, and just ask the question, right? So, like, let's take, I think Jimi Hendrix, for example, has probably revolutionized and impacted the instrument more than anybody else has.
Probably.
That's to say, right? In terms of like his impact on on music in those different ways. But are you going to tell me that the greatest, best guitarist of all time, he only lived till he was 27?
Yeah.
3 years younger than you, opposed to some of these cats that have been practicing and perfecting their craft for 70 years.
Like a buddy guy. He's what, 90?
You know?
Yeah.
Every day, you know? And so it's like, yeah, but so obviously, you know, we would say, well, yeah, but like guitar is just not all about like how
it's
good you are.
Feeling, yeah.
You know, it's you know, and then it becomes like the emotion versus the technique thing. And you know, it's like, oh, technically so and so is great, but they don't have the feel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I always push back because I'm like, well, who defines the feel? Like,
right.
If I'm playing guitar for you, are you defining my feel? It's like, I think, because then people will say like, I think there's a very, to me, feel and technique are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You know, like you and other people can and should have both.
Yeah.
In so many ways, right? Like, you know, I think of like this individual. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like, if someone were to tell me they thought Stevie Ray Vaughan was the best ever, I'd be like, you know what? You might be right. I mean, this motherfucker played. I mean, you play guitar, so you get this. Did you know that he plays with 13s?
No.
His low E, he plays with the highest played. Like his high E was a 13 gauge.
Wow.
And that's why it makes sense with like his tone, the way it sounded, the way it did. But then you start thinking about like the man lived on bends, and like I'm getting calluses just thinking about bending a fucking 13 gauge.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you know.
And I'm gonna listen to Steve. I mean, again, it's all about taste too. I'm gonna listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan a million times before Hendrix. But I mean, you watch Stevie Ray play like his version of Superstition by Stevie Wonder. You're like, I'm gonna marry you. You know, it's like this man is killing the guitar. But did he turn the guitar on its head?
Right. Exactly. And I think so. This is a great point, Richard, because there is, especially in like the subgenres of like metal and progressive metal, especially the shit that I listen to, right?
Yeah.
You have people like Yngwie, and you know, take his personality aside, which I think most people are gonna be like, he's just not a good person. But like, you know, he might be the fastest player ever. He might be technically like, if you know, you tell somebody to play a scale at 170 BPM, like he'll do it in a second.
Yeah.
It's where I say with Yngwie is like, I don't really get a lot from his music, but I think he has influenced the instrument as much as other people, because he was someone who people would look at and be like, I want to play as technically proficiently as that guy. And so again, it's like the influence comes in with that side of it, not necessarily like the emotional side of it. But I think, you know, back to my original point of like, you know, everybody wants to compare. That's the thing with these lists, right? Like, how do you compare Yngwie Malmsteen to Chet Atkins? You know, like, or Jimi Hendrix to Chet. You know, it's like you can't. And so, you know, you land on ultimately people like Eddie, right? Like, I think the thing is with Eddie is that, or Edward, as they will say, is like, you want the people who can do both.
Yeah.
They bring this influence, they bring this impact, they bring this technical proficiency. You know, Edward was not the first person to do tapping.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But also, I don't think people are talking about him in the way, unless Van Halen sold gazillions of records because they wrote really good fucking songs.
Yeah.
You know?
They're pop rock songs.
Yeah.
And they created the sound of the 80s like 2 years before the 80s.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Like when I was a kid, like Running with the Devil, I'm like, that's prime like 85, 86 hair metal. But then I'm like, oh, that's what, 78 when that song came out?
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah.
Like that doesn't sound like the 70s. That's the Eagles. You know, that's Stairway. That's Zeppelin.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's the
Scott.
thing, Scott. Like with hey, thanks for being here, man. But like, yeah, any sort of like art, it's like
You really
okay. Like for example, like I think about like okay, we're getting deep tonight, right? Giggity. So I think when people talk about like great actors, right? It's like I think about Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But here's like the complex question. It feels like when Tom Hanks is in a fucking movie, the movie does really well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, everything he's been in, with the exception of Joe versus the Stupid Volcano, which you probably like.
Joey Chestnut.
So I'm so fucking done with you. But,
Happy 4th of July.
But it's like, is Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan and the Green Mile and all these different
Toy Story.
Yeah, like, are those great, amazing, some of the best movies of all time because of Tom Hanks, or is Tom Hanks one of the greatest of all time because those movies are the greatest of all time in them? And it's like that's the thing, right?
Well,
like,
then you can take it. Just look. Hey, look. This is a stream. This takes us back to covers. Frank Sinatra, the greatest crooner, didn't write a song. Elvis,
crooner,
for all intents and purposes, did not write a song.
Yeah,
he's the king. For the mainstream of rock and roll, but he didn't write a song.
Yep.
But is it like, would he have been the king had he been writing these like bootleg old songs? About growing up down there in Mississippi.
Yeah.
But same voice, but he doesn't have Holland Dozier or Holland writing for him.
I mean, well, first of all, Mike, I'm jealous of you and who you've seen, right? Especially Randy, right? Like, not a lot of people have seen Randy Travis. Rhoads. So that's Randy Travis. That's correct. But yeah, so let's take like Uli, right? Like, I'm a huge fan of those mid 70s Scorpions records that Uli's on. That's my favorite era of Scorpions. But like, they're not selling records. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. But I don't know, does that come down to him? They sold a gazillion records. Yeah, it's fascinating. Okay, hold on here. What do we do? We got a lot going on. I don't know. I laugh at Sam Elliott because I think of his role in
El Paso Salsa. Grab the Southwest by the bottle.
But I mean, it's a joke, but it's true. Like, I think of him in The Big Lebowski. Right. Whereas like Sam Elliott's role in The Big Lebowski is just to be Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it is, right? Like, I don't know. And so it's very like chicken egg sort of situation.
But see, here's the thing though. Again, great guitar players.
Keep going.
Mark Knopfler. People look at Mark Knopfler like, oh, he's just all about tone. Some people don't like Mark Knopfler because they think it's all about the tone. But Mark Knopfler was swinging with the guys like Chet Atkins. Mark Knopfler can play Chet Atkins guitar. Mark Knopfler can play, on the Bob Dylan gospel records. Mark Knopfler can play like reggae influence guitar. And
there's one person on this earth that can play the riff to Money for Nothing correctly.
And it's
Mark Knopfler.
Right.
Like, I mean, again, like, he had that way of doing things in a very different way, but I think, like, you make a great point, right? Like, nobody else was, he did have both, right? Like,
yeah,
he played unlike anybody else, with the exception of, obviously, the people he was influenced by, but like, you think about like late 70s, early 80s, like popular rock music, nobody was playing like Mark Knopfler.
Right. Which that goes right into the whole thing of like genre hopping. I mean, who was it just mentioned it? About actors doing it. I mean, like, yeah, you have Tom Hanks playing, Castaway, but then you have him playing in a war movie or playing, Mr. Rogers. Like he's genre hopping. But then like you hear an artist, like a musician do that, and you're like, why don't they say like imagine like if AC/DC made a psych record. People are like, oh, what's Brian Johnson doing with that? I just saw Brian Johnson with Mike Love. That's a good joke.
It's a good one. Great one.
He's saying,
Okay.
do you wanna dance? But like I think people are more critical in music when the genre, like the mainstream listener, like the people that were at this Beach Boys show that I went to, the mainstream listeners, when they hear again Bob Dylan go electric, they get mad. But
right.
An actor, like we're like, oh, we're tired of typecasting. Like I'm tired of seeing, John Wayne and all these Western movies. I'm tired of seeing, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, all these like stupid action movies. Like show us tender rock, So, but like that's an interesting thing with art too, because like we hold musicians to one caliber, actors to another. We're not even going to get into poetry and painting and writing, but yeah, Richard, I will not calm down, sir.
You will not. Rob, you're always, but man, that's an open invite, man, for sure. We figured you were like out bopping around with like your wife and kids and shit. Two things that Sam and I will never understand.
Yeah,
no offense, Sam. I know you're twerking on it, but.
And then also, yeah. Anyway,
okay.
This is a good conversation. I'm feeling this one.
Right. Well, and I guess that's why, like, sorry, I'm sending this to Rob. My thing is like, and this is why I just don't react to, really any sort of like list, or this can get carried into like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. You know what I mean? It's like all that type of stuff. I'm like, we as a collective have not determined the Likert scale. The Ricker. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Rutgers
for anything, right? And it's like, how do you compare influence and impact to proficiency or technical ability? I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just asking like where those things meet, right? Like, I mean, you have a lot of lists that will call Kurt Cobain one of the top 5 or 10 greatest guitarists of all time. But again,
to the Hendrix route, how long were Nirvana around? 5 years, 6 years?
Sure, and like, and how much of Nirvana's impact is due to like the story? Is it the music or is it the story?
Which is like that's like the whole thing with like when people like like Marilyn Monroe or John F. Kennedy or Jimmy Dean, like, not Jimmy Dean, James Dean.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, are put on this pedestal. It's because like they're that icon status where like they were cut short. Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse, because they're on this pedestal. Is it because we're like, what if with their careers? Whereas, we see somebody like a Mark Knopfler who's done his solo records, and they're like, people are like, they're indifferent to him because some of them are a little bit slow, and like he goes in like the folky, like Irish kind of sounding stuff, like Billy Bragg. That's for you, Rob. Welcome.
Hey, Rob.
How's it going, guys?
We're getting heated and veins are popping out of our heads.
I saw that. Wow.
Just don't look too close. I'm not in 4K.
You're so good. You're in 5K, Sam.
You got that straight. Rob, talk to us. I'm going to get myself it's time.
I did comment on your Beach Boy video, Sam, and I agreed with everything you said.
I did see my little notification. I haven't commented anything, but
all right.
I love you.
Didn't want you to think I forgot about it.
No, of course not.
What's up, man?
Well,
what's going on?
Rob, I got to ask, as the proud owner of about 17 Telecasters,
yes,
what is your professional opinion on this whole thing? I mean, is it right that lists and these types, is it all just bullshit, Rob?
It's bullshit. It's all subjective, right? I mean, So I was watching the thing on YouTube. Someone was doing a comparison of Richie Sambora and Phil X, and who's better for Bon Jovi. And listen, I'm a shitty guitar player, but guitar player nonetheless. And Phil X, vastly superior guitar player to Richie Sambora. However, because Richie wrote those songs, there's a certain feel. There's just a little, there's something to it, right? You know, so it's not, you can't say who's better, because what do you define as better?
Exactly.
Right? You can't.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because, you know, if people would have asked the question of, like, you know, who's more impactful, or who's even more like technical stuff, who's a better soloist, you know, who's a better songwriter, you know, like all these different things, like you could, you know, it's still kind of bullshit, but at least you could go down that path. But when we've done things like, you know, the 100 greatest guitarist, I'm like, I need someone to define to me what greatest means.
Yeah, it's an intangible, right? Unless you can't. What you're doing by putting a list together is you're quantifying something. You're saying that A is better than B. Well, you can't quantify how much better a songwriter somebody is. I mean, the only way you could maybe quantify something is who sold more records. Doesn't mean they're better. Right? I mean, that's quantifiable data, but it's all subjective. The list is the list. You know, who's the best guitar player?
Right.
What the fuck should I know? I mean, who do I think revolutionized guitar playing the most? Probably Jimi Hendrix. He did shit that had never been done before.
Sure.
So, I mean, he's the best guitar player? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, the lists are all garbage. And I think, especially those Rolling Stone lists, because they seem to be out of touch, I think. But they're out of touch to us, but are they out of touch to Rolling Stone's current online demographic? Probably not.
Probably not. And, you know, that's a great point, Rob, because the funny thing, I think a lot of people like us like to shit on Rolling Stone today, right?
Sure.
Like, oh, it's all just bullshit. They're, you know, who are they to like work in like hip hop and stuff, right? But if you think about it, though, like going back and like looking, Rolling Stone's always been bullshit, right? Like, you know, like they were ripping Layla. Like, you know, there's a ton of incredible records that everybody loves and adores that Rolling Stone was shitting on and saying, you know, and now you're just getting into like the music critic side of things, which is bullshit to me too, because typically, you know, I always joke, I'm like, I don't need some fucking clown who sits behind a typewriter that can't keep fucking rhythm commenting on how good the drumming is.
Right.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, that's what we do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it all boils down to this for me. Music is a sensory experience, and it's a sensory experience that, if done well, triggers emotion. So ultimately, you like what you like, and that's all that matters. It's that simple for me. I like stuff that I get laughed at. I don't give a shit because I like it.
Yeah.
It's all that matters.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who my favorite guitar player is. Joe Walsh. Not anywhere close to being the best guitar player. I just love what he does with a guitar. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So the lists are crap.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, who's the most handsome guy in the VC? Well, that's Sam, but
well, we knew that though.
Look at the hair, right? So
that's a lot.
Oh, there he is. See, right on cue.
Chance, I see you out there, brother. Scott, I see you out there too. If either of you have any interest in hanging out, man, just let me know. I'll get you a link.
Rob, I don't know if you saw this. I'm gonna pull this out real quick.
And then show us that little print.
And show us the print. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it came while I was on. I held my mail, and it all came today.
I am a sucker. This is a very minor thing. Sam, hold that back up, ho.
What about the handout?
Yeah. It's like, okay, so like you hold it right there. I'm like, they actually went thought into like what color the Sharpie should be, and how it's gonna look.
So where did you get that, Sam? I obviously missed that part.
Pre-order on a site. Although Emma was on earlier, and we were talking that if that Newberry might do something, I doubt it. No, I see Chance. This was through his site, Chance, the Dirty Knobs record. And it was like the same price. It was either the color vinyl for 27 or that one for like 29.
When I knew the album's coming, when did it drop?
It was Friday.
Was it Friday? Okay.
Yeah, just yesterday.
I haven't. Shame on me.
Excuse me. It was last week. It was a week ago yesterday.
Shame on me that I didn't pre-order it.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got that in the CD.
Nice.
So.
But it's like, interesting. I'll show this. I think I might have sent this to you, Sam. I don't remember, but the latest Khruangbin record, neo-psychedelic instrumental kind of soul-ish band. Similar. It's like, yeah, autographs are cool, but like they nailed it with like the actual like
to actually like match it aesthetically. Yeah.
It's not just like black or whatever, but
right. Oh, show it, Rob. Here we go.
I mean, it's an artist no one cares about, but I do. Canadian guy, the new Jim Cuddy record. The album's blue. It's signed in gold Sharpie right on the front. Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And I get it, and it's all damaged. Big 2.5-inch seam split. Pissed me off.
What color's your Bon Jovi, if you know what I mean?
It's half clear, half black.
Just like any auto pen would be.
No, my Bon Jovi's not autographed. I didn't get the autograph.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you.
I thought you did. I thought you said you did.
I did. Well, you see, okay. Well, you missed the drama there. So it was a U.S. only thing. So what I was going to do is I was going to have it shipped to Concert Buddy's house.
Yeah.
And that was all fine and good. I got the order confirmation. They sent me, a link to track it once it ships. And I'm waiting. It's like 3 days after the release. So I clicked the tracking link. And it says, your order has been canceled. I was like, you sons of bitches. They didn't even send me an email to say that it had been canceled, which, fine, whatever. It's probably because I paid by a Canadian credit card. So, come on. Thanks, Chance. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know what? I kind of dodged the bullet then. Who wants to pay money for an auto pen? So,
yeah.
Right.
This is for
my
you.
My point was this was a nice autograph, to Alex's point. Unfortunately, my record is damaged, but
no, I don't think so. I have an issue. Southern Accents is one of the few things. So I've said this to many people. I think Tom Petty, in my world, is the only artist with a perfect catalog. However, Southern Accents could have been better simply because
then it's not a perfect catalog, Sam. Perfect means there's no room for improvement.
Perfect. I'm talking about tracks. I'm not. So perfect catalog, I say, meaning like every track to me, like there's not a Tom Petty track where I'm like, ugh. There are overplayed tracks. That doesn't mean I hate like okay, like the Beatles, like obviously like Revolution 9 in the catalog is like ugh. Even if
or
it's
yesterday. Ugh.
Right. But Tom Petty to me does not have a track like that. That's like, oh, why did he ever go there?
I actually agree with you. Yes, I agree.
Southern Accents. That was obviously intended as a concept album about the South because he's from Florida. And so like you have, Rebels, Southern Accents. Spike is about a guy that they met like at a bike club in the South. But then you have stuff like Don't Come Around Here No More. Mary's Got a Brand New Car. And it's like, that's the Dave Stewart because Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics is producing those tracks. And it's like, oh, there's 80s Tom Petty. And then it goes back to like Southern Accents, to me, his best song. And like the best of everything with Richard Manuel and Robbie Robertson on it. But I think that album is, there were about 6 other tracks on other records or like B-sides that could have made that record the Southern Accents that Tom wanted it to be. And he admitted that too. He's like, that album was not what we intended it to be. Still very popular. Don't Come Around Here No More is a huge hit.
Getting back to that Dirty Knobs album, have you listened to it yet?
No, I just got home tonight around 6, and I had to take my sister to her place, and didn't.
I got to imagine it's just got to be just as good as the other two.
Well, it's got. I mean, you have Graham Nash is on here, Lucinda Williams is on here,
Holy shit.
Benmont Tench is on here. I mean, first of all, look at that back cover. I mean, good grief, how cool!
I guess I'm going to the record store tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, what we were saying earlier is that you have the song on here on side B called "Don't Wait Up." So you have Mike and Benmont, obviously 2 original Heartbreakers, and then the current drummer is Steve Ferroni, who he's been drumming with them since '94.
Right.
So you have 3 Heartbreakers on a track. It's like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm excited here. I knew it was coming. I just lost track of when it was coming out. So.
And it's produced, but just like the other two, by George Draculius, who produced a lot of the later Tom Petty albums. I think he produced the Mudcrutch albums. Long-time producer for the Heartbreakers from the 90s onward, really.
I still am trying to track down those two Mudcrutch albums.
Yeah, because the first one obviously was 08, so that's going to be a toughie.
Both are on vinyl. One of them is easy to find. The other, not.
The first one, I thought I've seen like on like Vinyl Me Please or something.
I think
recently.
So. But one of them is around. I know one of them I've been looking, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on the one. But we all have that list of. I got to pick it up one of these days. And
right. Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to hear it. I've heard really good things about it. I've heard good things about the shows that he's doing on this tour. I would love to see him again, but he hasn't announced any dates near me whatsoever. So we'll see if he goes into the fall.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dan's missing Glenn. Clearly. Dan, why don't you reach out to fucking Glenn? You know, you want to know so bad.
Glenn and I swapped text messages last week. He's doing fine. He's busy.
So he is busy.
Yeah.
As a retired man.
As a retired man. Yeah, he's I actually invited him to the Wednesday chat last week because we needed a call up because Sam wasn't there and Jay wasn't there. So, oh, by the way, Alex, can you host this Wednesday?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Okay, because my boss is in town, so I gotta entertain him.
Well,
I may be able to join towards the end, but my boss likes to stay out very, very late. So
he's the guy that likes to have steaks, isn't he?
Just send it to you, Scott.
He likes very expensive meals. Yeah. So.
Oh, I forgot about this little.
But yeah, I talked to Glenn, and Glenn's busy, and he's happy, and whatever. So
the CD also is signed.
Oh, nice.
And the inside.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll just open that up. Didn't you
do a whole thing about how you're not going to buy the CD and the vinyl twice?
Yeah, but I saw these were both signed by Mike Campbell. And
no, that's fair. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And again, like the completest, I had the other two on CDs, so it's like.
I did that too. So, local band of mine that I love that hasn't put out a new album in 12 years just announced that they're putting out their first album in 12 years. So I bought it on vinyl. I'm like, well, I should probably buy it on CD, even though I don't buy CDs anymore. Because I'm like, I've got all the other albums on CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need therapy. I think that's what it is.
Well, that's fair for most of us.
And see, now the only thing I'm missing from the Dirty Knobs is I don't have the first album on CD. on a vinyl. So I've got to get that one, the Reckless Abandon record. Oh, Scott's asking for.
Scott, the link is sent to your email, my friend. I got to be careful with dropping these links in these public chats. You get, wackos up here and shit.
That's how I got up here.
That's so me too.
That's right. And then you just know where you can go. Now, maybe a dumbass question, Sam, but Dirty Knobs, do they sound, sonically, does it sound very Heartbreakers-y? Is that kind of the point? What is it? What kind of music actually is it? Just good old rock and roll Americana Heartbreaker-y type of stuff?
I wouldn't even say it's Americana. And Rob can chime in on this too. It's very garagey. I think it's crunchy.
It has that Heartbreakers component.
It has some jangle to it on some tracks, like some Rickenbackers.
Yeah.
But then it's also got some really kind of like kind of.
It stands on its own for sure. Like it's not. Mike can sound like Tom if he really wanted to.
He's got that drawl.
Absolutely. That Southern Florida, wherever they're from.
Yeah, he's on the Panhandle.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like when I saw Mike and he started singing, I knew what he was going to sound like, but I was like, I wish that I could have seen Tom. Because I'm like, Mike is giving me what my heart needs.
Yeah.
But that sound, but also, Mike's not a singer in the traditional sense. He's got that garage rock kind of voice.
Yeah.
But he never even sang backup on Heartbreakers records like Benmont did or Howie Epstein did or Stan Lynch. But he kind of came into his own when Petty died. I think he just kind of like kicked himself and said, you know what? I've got to keep this sound alive and I've got to keep giving them new material too, because Tom was looking ahead always to do stuff. Tom never kind of like reveled in the past.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you that. Let me ask you it this way, Sam. Do you like it because you like it, or do you like it because it's Mike Campbell?
I think I would like it one way or the other. I really do. Because it does have that stuff that I like. It's got the hooks. It has the jangle, like 12-string guitars. And like, I mean, yeah, like I would like it the same way that I like, a lot of like REM stuff or the Animals or whoever. Because again, that's what Mike has said. Like where Tom Petty pulled more from the Byrds, the Dirty Knobs are more from like the Yardbirds. It's kind of like that kind of comparison where they're pulling from it, like Jeff Beck versus a Roger McGuinn. But also great harmonies because like he'll bring up his other guys too in the band and like give them leads on vocals.
Well, we have a very special guest who's going to be joining us here in a second. Here, he's got his big hands. I want you to know in the backstage because you hear me talking, you got some big hands. It's like man hands from Seinfeld.
I was on last night.
I was like, why don't you crack that lobster tail for us there? Welcome to the stage. It might be for the first time ever on the Beer and Vinyl live stream. Please welcome to the stage. Well, not the Rhino, not the Rhino logo.
There he is.
Rhino.
Listen, guys, I'm on my break, so I moonlight at the Rhino warehouse. I don't know if you've been hearing about the shipping delays with the Black Sabbath High Fidelity series. We are working double, triple overtimes. I'm right now on a bathroom.
I don't know if this is planned. It's brilliant if it is. I don't know, Concert Buddy, if your internet's a little bit not working, if it's that fancy background. You're in the warehouse. I mean,
it's
I know
the warehouse.
The
warehouse
bouncing off the walls here. So
they kill our signal because they know they don't want us doing this kind of stuff and telling you the truth is out there and then showing you. I think I have to show my hands. It's apparently a qualifier these days. So just want to prove that these hands are mine and I can pommel basketball. So.
Now, Rob, you're up there in Canada. I don't know if you know this, but when Buddy has the Rhino logo there, what Rhino means in America is Republican in name only. So I want to make sure that we've been hearing a lot about that, for like the people on that side of the political aisle that don't believe in things like, I don't know, taking over the government when they don't win elections. Let's see here. A lot going on here. I agree. He is 1,000% right.
Listen, if anyone knows hands, it's Safe and Sound Vaginal Audio Excursion. The hands expert. So
now I must say this, Buddy. What I love about you the most, and I took note of this a couple weeks. Well, I mean, he's been, vaginal's been all, is that you say vaginal while so many people say vaginal.
Yeah, I mean,
tomato, tomato. Yeah.
So it's an anatomy lesson. Also, please, he's hanging out backstage. He's coming in from the greater St. Pete, Tampa area. All I gotta hope for here is I just hope his Wi-Fi is working. Sometimes it's not as well. Please welcome.
Yeah, talk about Wi-Fi.
Coming in live.
Scott,
is it working? Hello.
You sound great, my friend. You sound great.
I'm exhausted.
Because of the stream?
No.
I'm an old man.
Were you in the parade today?
I'm an old dude.
Scott, I can't remember. I was watching a video earlier. I forget when you posted. If it was earlier today. Was tonight the night that you were driving the van in the parade down there?
Yeah, I was driving a truck with a big speaker on top with all this dance music playing for the radio station for St. Pete Pride. It's crazy. Yeah, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Sitting in a truck for miles. Just creeping.
Man,
I
love it.
People screaming and carrying on and all types.
I think there's probably a lot more than screaming going on, Scott. It's okay. This is a family show. Let's keep it under control. All right.
Yeah, I gotta wonder.
I had to duck out of there. I had to duck out of there. There's too many revealing outfits. You know what I mean?
Scott, I gotta ask you this question because it's important for me. I watched a recent video of yours. You did like a recent listening, recent finds. I see you now in the flesh. You're in Florida.
Yeah.
You in a damn
And go for it.
hoodie all the time. We gotta talk about this hoodie situation.
It's cold in my house. I get cold.
Hey,
I have air
what
conditioning.
does cold? What does cold look like, Scott, in your house?
It's like 70 degrees.
Oh, stop. Hey, Scott, Alex came to this apartment in March, and my apartment's on 68. He's like, man, you got to drop this to 64 stat. He's like, it's hot in here.
That's why I got a notice from my electric company this week, guys. You know what they said? They said, please help us conserve energy. When you're home, keep it at 83. When you 78. Alex, you're gonna like this. 78
is good, yeah.
When you're away, keep it at 85.
No.
And when you sleep overnight, keep it at 82. And you know what I said to all that? Forget that noise.
You said fuck off, right?
Right.
Now, what I did hear
I have
is that
dogs too. I have dogs, and they got to stay cool, So, but I get cold. I just get cold.
From like the power standpoint, I guess I was hearing, which I guess makes sense in at least a way that you're like, well, like maybe depends, is that it should never be more than 20 degrees low. Well, no, wait.
Then outside.
Yeah, I guess they just say 20 degrees. So if it's 90 outside, it shouldn't be lower than 70 inside.
No, yeah.
Unless you live in Texas and then your whole like power grid,
The shock to the system sucks. Yeah, I mean, if it's too cold in the house, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was really hot outside, so when you come in the air conditioning, it feels cold. It feels really cold. I mean, it was sweltering today. So
it was 100 here with humidity. Yeah.
Ooh.
It'd be sweltering down there in the middle of February. That's my thing.
It's always sweltering. Well, February gets cool here. It gets cool here sometimes. Not as cold as up north, but it cools.
I know Rob is up there in his sweatpants because he loves to wear those.
Never.
No, he got up. He was wearing some really short shorts. I saw it. Those are his aerobics. I think he was wearing.
I got shorts on all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I do have shorts on. Yeah, I do have shorts on. I'm not wearing like long pants or.
It's hotter than the fires of hell up here.
Scott, I'm so glad you have shorts on. Thank you. He's like only my upper body.
I'm wearing clothes.
Now, I actually have a question for Concert
crazy.
Buddy. So I want to make sure I bring him to the center stage here, sir. Welcome to my stream.
Thank you.
Also,
first time, long time, as they say.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Alex.
I was going to say, welcome to my stream. And also, I'm so glad that you're joining us here live. I'm wondering if you've sold the Gandalf yet, or if I can make you another offer.
Listen, open to offers. No, I haven't got that. It's funny. I actually sold my duplicate of the Black Sabbath in an hour.
I bet. What'd you get it for? What'd you get for it?
So I saw it was going for like $150, and I'm not a gouger, but I wanted to basically cover the cost of mine.
You wanted to pay an electric bill and the air conditioning and shit.
Well, yeah, we're about to enter swamp ass season, so I needed to get all those shekels set aside for the crazy electric bills. But
dude, that's gonna be your Pappy's budget for at least a month.
Oh, Pappy's! Now you're talking. But no, so I listed it for $109 because I wanted to get the Discogs fee and then basically pay for mine. And guys, I'm not even kidding you. Within like an hour, I posted it like 2:00, and by 3:30, like it was done deal. But I did put the thing on Discogs versus make offer because I was, like maybe I'm overshooting it. You know what I mean? And somebody sent me an offer for $8. It wasn't like Alex when he sent me literally the MSRP for the Gandalf record, but $8. It's a fair offer. So anyway, yes, we can take that one offline because I've come into more copies. So yes, if you need one, I'll be your pusher man. I think as the song goes.
Thank you. No, I can't figure out just truthfully who did me more dirty, you or Emma, because you didn't really do me dirty. I just thought it was funny that I thought it was funny that I added it to my want list and I went and looked what was for sale, and then like first thing was fucking Concert Buddy,
and I was probably the lowest too. I'm the lowest of the high. I bet you. I guarantee. I don't try to be that guy.
You know what though?
I try to be
fair, that was a couple days after, and you probably were. I mean, I see them going for 70, 75 or so
money.
now.
I know. Even now, it's silly money. Yeah.
but it was so funny because it was just like I was like concert buddy. I was like, what are the odds? Oh, the odds are good. It's
The odds are good. No, I mean, true story. So that day, I had a friend of mine who was second in line at this one store. Actually, a store I met him last year at, and I asked him to grab me one because we'd already come from one store, and I started reading online because we're in the back of the line. This was now our second store that day, and it really seemed like that was one of the hot pieces, which it turned out to be. So I said, "Hey, man, I don't know if you know what this is. Can you grab it?" So he grabbed me one, and so I didn't want to he came out of the store right as we're about to enter the store. He had already checked out, and I was like, "Hey, man, we can't do this here because these people will literally kill us." So I said, "I'll Venmo you, and we can work it out later." So I still haven't got that copy. But then later in the day, I traversed a couple other stores, and magically, what did I find? Gandalf. And so I'm like, okay, and seeing what they're going for, I'm like, okay, one to keep, one to sleep. And so I picked one up, and then I went back to that same store the next day because I at Olivia Rodrigo single. That was also another hot one that I actually picked up a copy for someone else, did flip it. But again, what was still there? Gandalf. So yes, Alex, I have a couple copies that I'd be happy to move your way, and obviously since I know you, we'll do it right.
Well, I don't want to just wait for Jackpot to reissue it. That doesn't.
No, listen, you're doing me a favor because now this is what it's about to be called dead stock because obviously the one that I listed still hasn't sold. So yes, and I obviously have more copies, and like I said, I have my friend's copy that I still need to pick up. I did pay him. Don't worry, I'm not a welcher. I did pay the man, but
look at you. Love that.
Fellas,
Sam, you got places to be over there?
Yeah, I'm heading off. It was great to see you, fellas, as always.
Yeah, Sam, good to see you.
Good to see you, Sam.
We don't see you enough, but when I do, it's a good time.
Thank
Alex,
Tell us how you like the record. Tell us how you like that record, the new Dirty Knobs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll knob it up.
I just picked it up.
Oh, did you? Good deal.
Yeah.
I'll hopefully I'll do a review. I always say I'm gonna do a review, and then I'm like, yeah, it's already like 3 weeks past. I'm gonna get 2 reviews on this. But anyway, fellas, it's always nice. We'll see you, Alex.
See you, Sam.
Good to see you, man.
Hey, brother. Good to see you, man.
Bye, y'all.
Actually, well, Scott, you'll appreciate this. I commented on your video about this, but it finally came in. I streamed it a couple times, and then also spun a couple times. So I'm curious. So it's the new Decemberists.
Oh yeah.
This is signed from Newberry.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense that I don't know? I really don't mean to tiptoe into this world because now I'm tiptoeing into Chance's world and Concert Buddy's world, and I struggle with that. Not tiptoeing into your world, but I don't want to get into this side of these chats. I thought that this sounded I remember streaming this a couple times before it was physically released because it's been out for a while. But this sounded off to me.
The sound.
Am I just watching too much Concert Buddy on Thursday?
This is a surface noise episode if I've ever heard one. Let's take a giant shit on it, guys. Come on.
I mean, I haven't heard the vinyl. I haven't heard the wax. So I only got the CD. So I can't comment on that. I can comment on the music. Huh?
Yeah.
It
probably sounds great then. Yeah, we don't want to hear that, but it probably does. Let's be honest.
It's compressed and whatever. But the music, the craft itself, I think the music's good. I have a love-hate relationship with the Decemberists anyway, because the lead vocalist, his voice sounds forced to me sometimes. It just sounds a little forced. But and that's just me. I mean, I may be wrong on that. But that's just how I feel about it. But sometimes I like their records, and sometimes I don't. This one I do like a lot. I like it a lot. I think the songs are great.
Yeah, they lost me a little bit in their last couple. I don't think I've loved anything they've done since maybe The King Is Dead. I didn't really care for I'll Be Your Girl or whatever it was called.
They get a little tweet from me.
Yeah, I can see that. You might have been commenting on this. I think what I like most about this record is it's a dark record.
Yeah, it's very dark. It's about death,
and I think I appreciate
it's all about death. So
it's all about
death. It opens with a dead song and it ends with this epic dead song. It doesn't sound proggy at the end. The last song is like it's like how long?
It's
It's
19 minutes
19 minutes long or something. It's like 19 minutes long, right? And it's very proggy, I think.
Oh,
I thought you would love that.
Yeah. Marsha P. Hey, Marsha.
Mr. B.
Marsha
How's
P.
it going?
So there's another
Always.
I believe she's a Floridian. Scott, maybe.
Oh,
Scott,
yeah?
I'm challenging you right here on this stream. You need to organize a Florida VC meetup. If anybody can do it, it can be you, Scott. I'm serious.
Yeah, me and music. What John talking about music? That guy
Walking, talking, and stalking John. Yeah, he can get it off the ground. No doubt. No doubt.
We have a hard time getting together. The two of us. We've only got together one time. At the store.
And you live like 20 minutes away. Yeah.
Well, John walks everywhere, so I mean, it makes it hard to pinpoint his location sometimes. You know what I mean?
We're both busy though. We're busy guys. So.
Well, that was my thing. What if? Here's what we need to do, and I'm gonna eeny meeny man. I don't know. I'm putting this in Concert Buddy's corner here. This sounds like something he'd go into. Is that we need a North America Vinyl Community Association, a NAVCA.
Hey, listen, guys, I have a fragile ego, so I may not be the person for this job. I'm learning a lot about myself lately.
If you have a YouTube channel and you partake in VC things, you pay an annual fee.
Oh God!
No, I'm out.
Oh no!
You pay an annual fee, and then we have regional directors, right? So Rob has taken over basically like anything east of like Alberta, in Canada. We got Scott's the regional director. He's the state director of Florida,
Southeast. Yeah.
I feel like at least in the States we could regionally define it. Because let's be honest, Concert Buddy, you're pretty much Illinois if you think about St. Louis, and so it's like what is it? East St. Louis is in Illinois. Is that what?
Let's keep East St. Louis out of this. There's people.
That's what Nelly said. That's what Nelly said.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that. D. Miles and Larry Hughes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And then people can organize all the meetups and all those different things.
What do we get for a membership dues? A sticker?
At least.
I'm gonna sell me some more inner sleeves then pay for it.
Oh,
there you go.
See, I think right? I love the idea and the spirit, Alex. Here's the challenge: is that listen, you guys know this by now. Whatever you do, it doesn't mean even if it's 100% pure of heart. There's always going to be those haters that need a big glass of Clorox, right? So you're going to be called if you were to charge anything, they'll call you a grifter. They'll say you're trying to exploit your audience. But if it's something that's very well organized, which even just from that little pontification, Alex, like it sounded very structurally and strategically sound. I think in a lot of ways it could work. We're still going to get killed. So it's one of those things. We have to do a cost benefit analysis. That's why we do it on the sneak. Like all the meetups that I try to be part of, I don't really say much. I'm like, oh, you're going to be in this area? Let's run into each other.
But listen, here's what this could lead to: is that when you have an association, you have to elect leadership.
Oh God! Here we go again. Hold on, you don't know.
And this brings us to everything we've been waiting for.
I come here to escape that shit.
Is who would be elected president of the Vinyl Community Association?
Oh, that'd make me enough.
What would be worse, president of the United States or president of the vinyl community? I think it would be in a lot of ways comparable mountains of shit. Pardon my French.
I think it's kind of even.
Amen.
It's the job nobody wants.
No.
But also like the presidential race, it would probably the people running would be old white guys. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just saying it. So similar parallels, right?
Hey, I'm on the board.
This is the new J6 footage. This is the new J6 footage right here.
I'm currently on the board of directors of my radio station, and I can't wait till I'm off.
Something real. It sounds actually something real and tangible, not the vinyl community air quotes, right?
It's too much. No more stuff. I come to escape all that stuff. I come here to escape all that craziness. I do not want to get organized here. No.
All right. Well, I'll start. I'll
wanna
send you all
see
some emails.
disorganized.
You're on the list.
Alex is just
Send
trying
us,
to get
let's
money from
start the
here, that's
email,
all.
the distro list, and then we will we can see where it goes from there. It can either grow organically or die originally. We'll see where it goes.
I think I know which one that is. I think it is.
Where's the sound effects on this one? I got those cute sound effects. I would hit the toilet bowl one right now if it was
Yeah.
possible.
What's that thing, man? Yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny. Oh man, no. Well, I was gonna say, Buddy was good. So are you back doing weekly surface noise stuff now? Are we weekly?
Yeah,
are we bi-weekly?
so-
How are we doing?
Little confusion. So we had been doing it every like bi-weekly, right? Every other week.
Sure.
But some folks had asked, like, "Oh man, can you do this weekly?" I don't. This is not a humble brag. It's a reality. I can't do it every week. So I partnered with there's a channel, Spins Vinyl. Jason, real nice guy, based out of Portland. Him and I have collaborated on a couple different things before, and I thought that he'd be a good thought partner in the project, and also a way for him to kind of meet other people in the community and blah blah blah. And he has the technical acumen and so forth. So we came up with this real cheesy thing: A side and B side. Not that one's better than the other, just as a branding brush, right? And so next
Like a
week
double
we are
A
doing
side.
it weekly. Is a short answer. So we're doing it weekly, but we're alternating the hosting duty. So next week I'll be on the ones and twos as the A side, and then he follows with the B side, that kind of thing. But yet,
Okay.
a lot of our guests are the same guests. So it is a little confusion in the marketplace right now.
Yeah, I mean, is it still what Arnaldo and Rojas and
Yeah, Jose. Yeah, those are our core four.
Okay.
Bianco and Jose. Yeah, I think, and that's one thing Jason and I've talked about is trying to get more regulars, kind of mix it up, just to kind of get again different points of view in the hobby, different experiences, different conversations, and as corny as it sounds, different energy into the conversation.
Well, I mean, as you know, it's not lost on me, and I like to think that me and my 5 viewers or whatever that I have, is that I feel like if you watch one VC stream, you watched them all.
Sure.
It's like it's like, oh my god, it's like basically I think about the vinyl community live streamers as like studio musicians. They're like session cats. You're like, oh, it's like Steve Gadd. He's played on everything.
Skins, boy, yeah. Yep.
You're like, they're on, he's on Chance's stream, he's on George's stream, and on Rachel's stream, and so I think it's a battle keeping up with the Joneses here,
Yeah, no, I feel it. I think one thing you guys do and even I think I've been watching. I don't comment all the time, believe it or not, but like the things you've been, like you and Emma doing the stuff on Fridays, like any kind of semblance of organization is always helpful. Like having like actual pointed things, like you don't have to be like we do on ours, like topic number 3, like we're like Donnybrook or something, or Crossfire. I guess is probably a national reference, but at least having something like directionally to talk about is important, because you guys have seen the streams where like it just goes haywire because one structured topic or one organized thought piece becomes just organized chaos.
Yep, those are the most popular ones.
Well, they are the most popular ones, but they're also the ones that seem to attract the most interesting characters. And
look, I used to watch Maury. I used to watch Maury and Jerry Springer too.
Well, no, listen. If it was me, I'd love to pick up a chair and throw it and have Steve Wilkos pull it back from me. You know what I mean? Like that's like a dream moment for me. But the vinyl community, I don't think it's probably the place to do it. Yeah.
We should have like Steve Westman be Steve Wilkos for a day. That's it.
That would be actually, they look kind of similar. Maybe
same first name, same head type. So
same haircut. I don't know if Steve Wilkos is an audiophile though, so we may have to do some kind of like genetic testing to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a long-winded way of saying yes, Alex. Surface Noise is every week now. It'll look a little different from week to week, just based on the AB and me and Jason kind of alternating, and then obviously trying to mix in some familiar faces and some new faces. And that's because that's what I've always wanted with that stream to be, is just elevating different people in different positions. And like I did get some flack about Oh, these are a bunch of channels nobody knows about. Exactly.
That's the point.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I took a lot of,
Yeah.
again, it doesn't matter if you do it for the right reasons. You're still going to get shot up.
I'm guessing that the people who would give you shit about that are probably people who don't even have channels.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to out anybody, but there's a couple of cranky folks who are just like, what are you doing over there? And that's why nobody watches. They give it a little bit of the Joshin, but there's really a little bit of like zing zing in it. It's done another kid. Oh, we're just playing. It's like, no, you're insulting me, but with a smile. Like it's still an insult.
Yeah.
Like let's not
That's
call
the worst kind too.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you stabbed me in the back with a smile. Thanks. Stab me in the back.
I mean, Rob's been doing, obviously before Rob was owning it and it was on Glass Channel. It's like it's a challenge to like think of these things every. We go back and forth, Rob, of like,
yep.
What's the topic? And then there's this element of like, Rob, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm always thinking of it. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to recommend a topic that like would also be a great video idea.
Right?
Like now I'm like, oh, am I wasting my video idea on our live stream?
Alex, that's exact. Alex, that's so spot on because I'm putting energy into that and the podcast and all that stuff. When it comes time for my videos, I'm just kind of like, I've already taken a lot of the good ideas and shined them up and already given them out. You know what I mean? So like, a lot more show and tell. And I think the audience likes it, but like every week is a little monotonous. You know what I mean? And in turn, to have the creative, Rob and I have talked about this, to have the creative fire to be like, got to do a video, got to come up with something interesting, got to become something different than I went to my record store and got this. You know what I mean?
This is what
because that's what it comes down to. Alex, you hit right on the head. Yeah.
It's a challenge. I mean, I find that too, between hosting the live stream, which I love doing, absolutely love. It's my favorite thing to do in the week. Sunday morning, I publish a video. I got to get off of here in a few minutes because I got to edit my video for tomorrow morning. And then a couple times a month, I try and do a podcast episode. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's a lot of work and it's a lot of ideas. Yeah. And you only have so many records. And you go, shit, like, what am I going to talk about this week? I don't know.
I don't know how you guys find I don't know how you guys find the time to do all that too, because I have enough trouble getting the time just to make videos.
Well, seriously. Surprise! I'm a vampire, so I think I'll probably come out vampire. No, no. But to Rob's point, I mean, and one thing, I don't know how you guys do it, and feel free to borrow this if you want. But that's I lean kind of on my panelists too. Like I'll send out an email at the beginning of the week and just being like, "Hey guys, roll call. Who's coming in?" And 2, here's a couple ideas I'm workshopping for topics. Feel free to contribute. And credit to my fellow, streamers. A lot of times they come up with better ideas than I had. That's great. And I'm like, cool. That's even better than I was thinking, like sitting on the toilet over the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, oh, great idea. No, it's like Doc Brown, the flux capacitor hit him in the head kind of thing.
I got to confess, my idea guy is Alex. Usually Alex or Sam are the guys that come up with our topic every week.
Oh, and that's great. I mean, and that's why the collective is strong, right? You know what I mean? Like everybody brings their strengths. Rojas comes up with a lot of good ideas, when it comes to conversation. Sometimes he has some ideas we have to like poo-poo.
I think what we need though is we need to get Jason Arsenault to start pulling his weight. I mean, he's not been performing. I gotta say.
Well, he told me privately that he thought he was bringing the sex appeal to the live stream, and I said, "Well, you better test that." I don't know what markets told you that, Jason, but
yeah. Well, I mean, look, actually, it's kind of funny. Here's the tie-in from the earlier conversations that Sam and I were having when you all were probably just lazy people in the chat of like, what's the sir, struggling. I'm no, hold on. I'm like catching up. I'm like, Alex, watch your alcohol. I'm like, I'm getting the thoughts that are gonna be bubbling. I'm like, stop the hoopty. It's like, oh, just care. Okay. Shit. The point is like, what's the goal? Because the reality is, if the point of a live stream is just to get as many viewers as possible, then a lot of times that has nothing to do with the topic. That has nothing, you know what I mean? Like, we know, I mean, this is not used as a method to talk shit or trash or drag anybody, because we know where that goes, like all that kind of stuff. But like, to me, there is not a correlation between popularity, viewership, etc., and quote unquote VC content.
Sure.
And so and that's why I stay out of a lot of the like the comments about the things, because I'm like, I mean, look, like what people do like works for them. That's great. That's amazing. It's like I've seen people who have had put one and one together if you want to, concert buddy Scott, but like people who have less subscribers than I do, who did a live stream that has over 100 live viewers, and I'm like, there's not a singular ounce of music commentary in this, and so why would it be any so I don't judge it from like a standpoint of like, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. Right. I don't care. That's their thing. More power to them. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But why would I compare myself to that?
No, you can't.
That's not. I have zero interest in that.
That's dangerous to do that. Yeah, because you start second guessing yourself.
Well, and you start modifying your tent and modifying your audience, and
yeah,
I mean, you got to stay. You got to stay true.
Sincere. Yeah.
Hey.
That's the thing.
Oh, that's
it's so weird seeing it be all like sunny and light there, Trevor.
Hey.
Oh, and outside, yeah. Scott, Rob,
hello,
Chance.
How you doing, man?
How you guys doing?
I was say, Trevor, you and Buddy had a little bit of bonding time a couple weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah, there was some open mouth kissing. It was delightful.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought my mints.
but
that makes two of us.
So yeah, it was a really, really good time, and I think we talked about it. It was just kind of, and you guys have met up with other guys in the VC. It's the first meeting is quite surreal because you just know these guys from a screen. So yeah, it was pretty badass. Loved it. So yeah, we just got back from dinner, so that you guys are still on.
Yeah, I think I texted you about 5 hours ago and was like, "Are you
yeah,
interested?"
I know. Yeah, I'm interested, but I'm just like, kid, she's gonna be gone for about a month next weekend, so have a little father-daughter time.
Yeah,
good.
So, yeah.
Hey, this is my favorite channel from Japan, hands down. This guy actually is kind to others in the community. And helpful, and actually contributes to the narrative like in a positive way. So shout out Brian.
I've never heard of her.
I love Brian's energy. Is so cool.
Yeah. Could Brian he'd be like walking around and shit on his phone, walking through Tokyo and shit, right?
Yeah, and I love his fast motion motorcycle riding all over town. He takes you all through Tokyo in like 2 seconds.
It's funny because you have Brian, who, I mean, obviously his name's, like Tokyo, type, like, oh, you listen, Japan. I didn't realize the winner of my, Rob, you'll know this. The winner of my 500 subscriber contest was Music as a Journey, who you had on your channel talking about Canadian music. Like he's very Canadian. He loves Canadian music.
Oh,
well, because he's from British Columbia, but he lives in Japan.
He's lived in Japan for 25 years. So when I was like, let me just send you a good Amazon gift card. I was like, do I have to like translate this in yen? Like what was going on here? But first of all, is like the nicest, sweetest human.
He is.
Like bar none. Because I sent him the gift card. I was like, look, you participated in my he like didn't even know that there was like a winning. He's like, what do you mean I won? I just wanted to do a video. And I was like, no, like this is how this works. And he was like, actually, Rob, you'll probably appreciate this. He was like, well, I mean, could I at least send you something like some records from Japan?
No.
And I was like, I mean,
nice.
Yeah, like
that would be nice.
Like Japanese pressings, those are hot, whatever, and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds like he's sending
Japanese.
me. I mean, there's a couple of things he's like sending me, and he's like, I just want to make it right. And I'm like, no, like this is how this works. So yeah,
And that, guys, I think we can all attest is the spirit of why we do this.
Yeah.
Why we
Yeah.
try to meet each other up, all that kind of stuff. The other kind of riffraff, and I'm not even going to shout out bad actors.
Yeah.
It's like this is the way I described it to somebody recently. It's like stepping in dog shit. It's going to happen sometimes, and you're going to have to clean your shoe.
Yeah.
It's up to you how deep you want to get in it. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm the last person to like tell anybody who, what, when, where. I've made my mistakes too, but that's the reality. Is that the thing that should keep you centered, like you're talking about earlier, Alex, about don't want to compare yourself to these smaller channels, get more viewers, all that stuff. Focus on this kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter about the numbers. It matters about the connections and the conversations. And anyway, off soapbox. I'm just saying, I know I get pulled into a lot of that nonsense, right, wrong, or indifferent. But exactly what you're talking about, Alex, is the spirit of why I keep doing this, or I keep trying to do this.
But that's the point I've been trying to make, Concept. That is why we need an association. We need leadership.
That's when it gets dirty.
We need elected officials.
No.
It gets dirty like that, though.
I would never. Could you imagine?
No, you're right. You're right about that, Chance. It's like I come here because it's a breath of fresh air. I've gone through most of my life. Most of my friends are into this kind of stuff, like you guys are, like we are. Most of my friends that are around me are not it. Like I look at my father's generation. I think I told you guys about this before. My father's buddies, they used to sit around on the weekends with a fifth of Johnny Walker.
That's right.
And they would bring records to each other's homes, and they would say, "This is the latest, Coltrane. Or this is the latest, whatever." And they'd sit down together in a room in the basement or wherever, and they'd just be jamming on tunes. And so this is all before the internet. This is all before digital. They did it in person. They came to each other's houses, and the kids were upstairs playing, and they were playing the music downstairs. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I used to sneak and watch them. And these guys, it was almost like they were playing poker, but they weren't doing that. They were listening to records. They were listening to jazz. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing. It's more digital. It's more, it has a far reach. And that's what I like about it, and that's what keeps me coming back.
I always said, like, to me, the whole thing, and I mean, I know people like say that, but like, I think about some of my favorite musical memories. It was like sitting around a fire with your friends and being like, "Have you heard this? Like, what do you think of that?" Like, it was those types of things, and to be able to share that with people, that, across the world, like, sort of thing.
Right? You just remind me of this friend of mine that I had. We used to smoke pot together, and when we were in high school. And when All in All came out by Earth, Wind and Fire, we got so stoned one night, and it just came out. And Serpentine Fire is the first song on there. My friend kept playing it over. He goes, "Check it out, man! Listen out of those horns!" And he would just play the song over and over and over again. And we would just jam. We were jumping around his bedroom to this music, and we were stoned out of our heads. That was the fun of it, because we really got into the record, And as you get older, you start to, life happens, and you just don't listen to records as much because you don't have those connections with people. That's why I came here, because I kept the connections with you guys, and it makes me get real with my records again. It makes me listen. When Magic talks about something, I go, "Oh, I have that record. I haven't listened to that record in 5 years, Let me pull that sucker out, That's that's what it's all about, I think,
Yeah,
sometimes
learning new things.
music. Sometimes I hear about music that you guys listen to, that somebody else listened to, that I never got into, and I said, "Let me check it out." And then I'm like, "Wow, I'm into this now. Wow, this is kind of cool,"
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know I had prog music in my collection, Alex, until I met you.
You damn right.
Anyway.
Listen, fellas, I got to run because I got a video to edit for tomorrow morning. So.
Oh, content
Look forward to it.
creators, use us.
Listen.
Always with the work, man. Always with the work now.
Let me rephrase that. There is a video I would like to edit because I enjoy the process of creating videos.
Fair.
There
There
you
you
go.
A pleasure as always,
Take
gentlemen.
care, Marcia.
See you later.
All right,
Okay,
Rob.
All right,
See you,
take care,
brother.
Rob. Good night, man.
Ciao.
Marcia, have a good night, my friend. Oh yeah, y'all. Trevor, you and Marcia P and Steve got a stream tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Are you able to share the topic?
The one part I remember is that we have to review the debut of Stone Roses. They
That's right.
already owned
Oh,
it. I've never heard it. It is never in my wheelhouse, so I've been kind of cramming it the last couple days, checking it out.
Yeah.
that's cool.
And I will talk about it tomorrow. So
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a couple other topics I'd have to look at the text and see what we're doing.
So, Alex, can I ask a question? I want.
Yep.
No, I haven't watched. I gotta be honest. I haven't watched all the Beer and Vinyl Friday shows start to finish, right? But can you walk me through the origins of? Because I know you met up with Emma for a concert like 2 months ago or something like that. Is that where, like, how did the idea hatch? Because I think it's great. I mean, Fridays are very crowded and all that stuff, but in terms of like just you guys being like, yeah, let's do a stream and let's just talk. Let's do it on Fridays. Like, walk me through that so this noob can better understand how that came to be.
Well, it's funny even like saying that it's not necessarily a Friday thing per se. What's really funny, yeah. So I mean, Emma and I have known each other through like Instagram, like over the last like couple years. Like when I first started watching like YouTube videos and stuff, and then we were like following each other on Instagram, and then like she was really supportive of when I was like starting a channel, and like I remember like messaging her and be like, I just posted my first video, like sort of thing. And then I had a work trip out, like just literally complete. I remember like messaging her. I was like, how close are you to like XYZ city? And she's like, that's the city I live in. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going there. I have to go there for a work trip. Like we should like meet up or something. So, and then like went to like Matthew Sweet and did the whole thing. And then things have sort of, blown up since then. But like, we don't really do it every Friday. What I was telling her, which was like really funny, was like, I was like, I don't really like plan streams. Like it was funny, like Chance, you're talking like, oh, it's good to have like the routine of like we do it every Friday. Sure. And my thing is like usually what happens, I'll be honest with you, is on like a Friday or a Saturday, I'll start drinking beers around like 6 p.m. and around like 8 p.m. I'm like, I'm a little bit buzzed. I should go live. Like,
Live.
I'm like, let's go live.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But like rarely
karaoke courage. I get it.
Yeah, it's like never planned that way. Like I literally, I'm the guy that's like, you know what, Trevor, I might fuck around and go live later. Like
yeah, I love getting the text. But it's like what Scott was saying earlier, and I've described these a lot, especially the more spontaneous ones. Like, hey, let's all get together, have a drink, and talk music, talk some other shit, and it's all fun.
Yeah,
it's great.
And that's where we met up in person there. We did like that like cheesy video that we did, which was like so fun. Like we realized that like we just had like really good like back and forth, just like
you guys are
like
hilarious together. Yeah.
And so every once in a while we'll do that again, and it's led to something really great. Like we're going to see the Stones in Chicago next week, and
oh hell yeah,
wow.
So yeah, it's been good.
Nice.
She's funny. She's very funny.
She's great. She's hilarious. I told her.
Very quick witted,
Oh yeah. That's what's been like hilarious and great is like very similar senses of humor, like very like sarcastic and dry and just with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great seeing that come off the ground, and I didn't know how you guys knew each other, so I appreciate you walking me through that.
Yeah, because y'all met. She did some St. Louis stuff before, right? Like y'all.
Yeah, that was interesting because I traded like nice video, those kind of things with her, and she's part of that youngest members of the VC deal.
Right.
And when they came to St. Louis, my friend Billy, who has a record store, was like, "Hey, I'm taking that group around. Do you want to meet up with us? I know you live near this one record store." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I came up there and I felt like a little bit of a creeper because I'm like, oh, hey, You know what I mean? Like I wasn't technically invited, but Billy invited me, kind of thing. And so
Sure.
like there's like Emma, and then there's Marican and
Dylan.
Dylan. Yeah, Dylan. I'm like, oh hey guys, how's it going? Like, and I was like, almost like, do they think I'm like that old weird creeper guy? Like I had to be very clear to ground it and be like, oh yeah, Billy told me you guys are. I literally live down the street. You know, I just want to say hey, what's up, that kind of thing.
Well, in the documentary that Dylan put together, it did come off as not creepy, but it seemed like you just happened to be there.
I told you I'm a vampire. I'm the vinyl community vampire. I was hanging upside down, and then here comes this fresh meat, and I'm like, oof, pull off my cape, and I'm ready to, yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
but no,
it
it's
came
all
out-
really
it
cool
came
to
out
meet him, yeah.
natural.
I do have
Yeah.
to like between us four and the people in the comments, and obviously this being on YouTube forever. It is funny like having to catch myself on like the whole youngest members of the VC thing, because, and I've told her this, I'm like, look, understand, like, I mean, y'all created this like 4 or 5 years ago when you actually were like really young. And so they, you can't like rename yourself. You can't be like
Right.
the most middle-aged members of the VC. You
Right.
can't like do this sort of thing.
Well,
But I've also told her, I was like, look, like it also makes me feel like a pedophile. Like I was like, I don't.
yeah, but how old are new kids on the block?
They're not new anymore, Trevor. That's how old
They're not
you know?
They're
kids
just
either.
kids on the block. Exactly. No, that's a very fair point. That's a very fair point, Alex.
Yeah.
To your point, I think it's that the train has left the station on the branding, but yeah,
But they can't
it's a
rebrand.
question I've
That's
asked
why they can't
myself.
rebrand.
Yep, very true. Oh, Brian doesn't know about them. I see his little comment. This is a great opportunity, Alex. If you want to give him the primer.
Yeah, Mikey Master. Well, yeah, I mean, years ago when these channels started, it was, I mean, what, 4 or 5 years ago? I wouldn't even know. I mean, it goes back farther than me, but yeah, you had these group of people, Emma, 8 Vinyl Low, Dylan over at the Record Spinner, Marican at Marican's Music. A handful of others have sort of like, come and gone or whatever in different ways. I would say that those 3 are like the core, the core, and then you have like a rotating cast of characters every once in a while. But
Marican's husband is kind of indirectly involved. Like he's on the trips, but I think his name is Jared, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
correct. You are. Yep, Jared. And so like when they started this, they were all in like, I mean, I think God, like Emma might have been in college. It's like you would have like these very young people who were like, yeah, we're young, we're in the VC, like nobody else is doing this. Like as you all know, like. Let's just be honest, like most of the VC looks like fucking Trevor. And so it's like, no offense, you fit the part.
That's not true. That's not true. They're about 80 and old white guys. I already said that earlier.
There's a lot of old guys,
Well, yeah, there's come the time when we all get together in Boston. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of elder age bald guys.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's like we just need more people like Trevor that'll listen to Steely Dan. It's like let's get that. So, but that was a lot of it. So I think none of them knew each other before. Like I think it was a completely like organic, natural, like, oh, we just met because we were 20, 21, 22, whatever their age they were, and they just started watching each other's videos. And like the first time they ever met in person, like that was like the thing. So
legitimately the first time they had all like met in person, yeah. And Dylan filmed it, right? They had that's
Yeah.
Brian. If you want to go to the Record Spinner as his channel, he has like he made these little
big channel.
They're documentaries about these meetups, and the first I think was Nashville, second was St. Louis, New Orleans last year. And I think they're about ready to announce this year's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're going east. They're going East Coast. Yeah.
Okay, East Coast. Okay.
Really?
And so, like, they meet up every year. Dylan does like a full documentary on it. And like, Dylan's a huge channel. He's got like 8,500 subscribers, it's like, so, and I mean, Emma's a big channel too. She's at like, 25, 2,600, sort of thing. And so, but the joke though, what's funny about it is that, they started when they were actually really, really, really young. And now they're all in their mid to late 20s. And they're like, well, we can't change our name, it's like, so it's kind of funny because it's like the youngest members and they're all like 27 or whatever running around. So,
well, remember Saved by the Bell, right? They tried that thing with Saved by the Bell. They sent them to college years, and then they tried doing New Kids as the Saved by the Bell. It didn't work, right? So it's kind of that thing, you know. If they would do like youngest members of the VC go to college, maybe, I don't know. They got it. They can make it work, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is you got people like Jack the Music Guy who's like,
All right, here you
I'm
go.
18, you help me out. So, yeah.
It's like the Brat Pack. They're always going to be the Brat Pack, even when they're in the 60s and 70s. You know, Demi Moore is always going to be part of the Brat Pack, you know, and Molly Ringwald and all that, you know.
Have you seen that documentary?
I haven't. I want to watch it. Yeah, it's called Brats. Yeah, I want to check it out.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I heard it. They talk a lot about not liking the term or something like that. You know, not liking.
Right, but yeah, that's the name of the documentary.
The image, yeah.
Well, it seems like they've come to terms with it. Obviously, I mean, you have to. I mean, it's 35 years ago or more. Yeah, so it's like it is what it is, but it's an okay movie. I mean, thankfully, it's not like one of those like 5-part series, you know, an hour each. And,
sure.
It's just like a 90-minute, hour 45, something like that. So it's not too bad.
Speaking of, I know I asked Alex and Emma this on their last show. I think not tonight, but last time I caught them. But the Stax documentary, have you guys seen that?
No, I don't think so.
It's on. I know it's on Max. So
I haven't seen it.
I gotta wait till Hulu and their section of Max gets it. When
they downgrade it,
There you go. Right. It's worth the time. And you know what the worst thing is for me is now I'm hunting original Stax. Like I had some, but I didn't have like Carla Thomas or Rufus Thomas. You know what I mean?
That like soul dressing and all that shit.
Right. I just got the name escapes me because it's late, but Mr. Good Stuff, Gene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Hang on.
Mr. Good. Yeah.
Show and tell time. Hang on.
Yeah, go in the warehouse.
I just picked this up today.
What do you got there, Scott?
That's for Record Store Day. The last one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was that comp, yeah.
They had it cheap, so I said I'll pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a nice cheap one too. It was like what, $14-15 or something like that?
$13, $13.99, yeah.
Nice.
So I was like, I'll check it out.
That looked like it had some good stuff on it.
Yeah.
What do you got, buddy?
I have to leave the warehouse. I have to leave the warehouse because of the screen will mess up. So this is Mr. Good Stuff by Gene Smart, and it's the song. You know, right? You know what I mean? But I mean that beautiful Stax yellow. I mean, so anyway, This is the kind of stuff because you know sometimes when you're collecting, you kind of something new, something fresh, and not this. I mean, this label's been around 50 years, right? But watching the documentary taught me things because we went years ago, like 2018, we went down to Memphis and we did Sun and so we did the Stax Museum. And at the time they told us like, hey, there's this big documentary in the works. I'm like, okay, cool. And then COVID, blah, blah, blah. So when it came out, I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. And you learn so much more. Like we did the museum and watched the little documentary there. But I mean, just hearing the story and hearing, you know, that how Atlantic basically took all the masters because of like the bad deal that the guy signed. And so anyway, it's fueling my passion right now because now I'm tracking down original Stax because here's the reality is like it's central to a lot of what we talk about OG versus reissue. Man, if I can get the piece of history, because this is history. This is like the stuff that first came out. And I don't know about you guys, but when I can find the originals and they need a little bit of love, like this one had a price sticker on it, so I got to play price sticker roulette. Will it leave the shadow or not? And it didn't. And then, you know, I do like the magic eraser to remove the ring wear on the white back covers, all that stuff. So it's the stuff I used to do, but I don't do as much anymore because I don't find a lot of these records that need love. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you know, a lot of those, it's like I always go to like the Booker T and the MG like section whenever I go to a record store, and I mean, people talk about all the time, like most of they're just beat to trash.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so it's hard because it's like, I sit there and I'm like, ooh, it's only like, 10, 15, like whatever. But I'm like, ooh, I'm going to be hearing that scratchy for a little bit,
You're not going to play it much, that's for sure. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's true.
But I always say it, and Scott, I'll say it again here. Like I said it to you before, like your like soul tag that you conned me into because of me conning you into the prog tag. I mean, it is like funny, like how much that opened me up to like really, I mean, caring about these things and like going out and looking for the things that like, Chance was talking about, all that kind of stuff. And also, and you and I, Scott, obviously connect on these things all the time. You too, Trevor. Oh, well, actually, and you too.
The coal mine,
too,
sure.
too, buddy. But like, is the coal mine stuff?
Coal mine.
It's like you listen to the Delvon, Lamar Organ Trio. You listen to, all these bands. You're like, God, you know what? Like, I don't know. Like, it probably sounds a little bit like hyperbole, but I feel like half of Coal Mine's label would have been on Stax. It's like half the Stax would have been on there. You know?
I think it has the same kind of feel in terms of how they dealt with each other and that kind of thing, kind of like a family type thing. Because what's the guy's name that you interviewed, Alex? The guy that one of the owners.
Terry.
He just sounds like he really is involved with the artists, majority of the artists, not all of them, but majority of them. He gets involved with them on a personal level, not just business wise, but I think he deals with it on a like the Sinceres. I mean, how he got them to put an album together. He tricked them into it. You know what I mean? And it was a cute story. I just think that's kind of how Stax was too. It's kind of like, let's just try stuff. And that's what I like about it, because they're all about the art. They're all about the art instead of the business.
Yeah.
And I know it's important, but I feel that the reason why Coal Mine's so special is they're really about the art.
Yeah.
And
what I thought was cool is like a lot of the artists are touring together. So like Kendra Morris is touring with Say She, and like
I just saw both of them.
Oh man,
separately.
I love Kendra, but I love Say She. I think they're freaking great.
They're crazy girls.
Oh my god,
they're crazy on stage. They're cute. They're real cute.
I bet. But yeah, I mean, it's
Well, and that's what Daptone would do. Like, call it 10 years ago. You had Charles and
oh my god,
Miss Sharon Jones, right? Yeah, they all go out on those Daptone tours.
Sauna Star, all of them. Just oh my god, I'm gonna see the Sinceres up in Montreal in a few weeks.
Oh,
for free!
Oh wow!
Yeah,
they're killer. Dude.
They're part of the international jazz festival. So I'm going in the last 2 or 3 days, and they're one of Orville Peck's one.
Because Orville Peck's jazz, super jazzy.
Everybody says he's great live. So I can't wait.
He was great. He was one of the things. I mean, I think you commented on. Like I saw him the other week. Like the music's not really my thing. It's really not. I don't know some friends, but like the performance is amazing.
That's what everybody says. So I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, Sinceres were cute though. They were really cute to watch.
All right. Oh yeah,
Scott, is that a work thing? Is that how you're going up there? Or?
Oh no, I'm going up there for just a vacation. Yeah, going up there for vacation. Yeah.
Awesome.
And we just happened to hit the dates that we hit. Were just right at the end. I said, "Oh, festival, great! Let's go. Let's check it out." So I haven't been to Montreal since I was 14. And we go on a vacation with your parents. Totally different when you go on vacation yourself.
For sure, night and day.
I was a little kid. I remember though I remember we went to some museum up there. I think it's like a World's Fair type museum or something, and I was obsessed with Barbarella when I was a little kid, and Jane Fonda, and they had the dolls that had the teeth. I don't know if you know that movie, but the dolls that had these sharp teeth that were coming after to bite at her and stuff. They had those dolls that are animated, and they had the piano kind of machine that was an orgasmatron that when she played it, it gave her an orgasm. They had all the, and
I remember that
14 years
reason for
old.
2 different reasons, Scott. I think everyone can kind of assume what those 2 reasons were.
But I remember that as a child, I begged my parents to let me go see this stuff. My parents were like, "Why does he want to see this stuff?" You know, like, it's Barbarella.
Hell yeah.
Something I wasn't supposed to know when I was 14. You know, but,
Well, hey, crash course.
Yeah.
yes.
Well, boys, I hate to cut this short, but
All right.
Last call. Looks like
last call. It's been 3 hours and 4 minutes and 52 seconds. So
It's been fun, and we still haven't
It's been
done our
great.
coal mine stream, man. We still haven't
we
done
need
that.
we need to do a video or something, man. Let's do it.
That
Let's-
sounds like an
so
excellent
obsessed.
podcast idea. Wink, wink.
we would do it. Yeah, no, that'd be great. You know, Scott, if we did like, I mean, we got a ton of ideas, but you know, we could do just like an overview. We could do like our top 5 favorite, you know, like all those different. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just we got a lot of different options. So
Yeah, it's just I'm so obsessed with that label. So
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I appreciate you guys. I mean, especially
thanks for asking me to come out. This is fun. It's always fun to hang out with you guys. We're having fun.
Yeah,
Always,
it's always
man.
fun.
It's no drama, just lots of fun, cheekiness. You know, I like that.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's still fun without the drama. You don't have to have the drama to have fun. We're just having a good time talking shit. You know. It's awesome.
And and thanks for Brian too for reminding us that your mic's a little bit choppy. But you know, I didn't want to be mean about it, but you know, it's true.
Mine.
Yeah. Yes.
It is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, Scott, because we're done here. So but
I
no,
gotta
we'll
work on
do
that.
it again soon. Appreciate you all, and hey, have a good rest of the Saturday, I guess, whatever it's left of it. And
All right, be
we'll see
good.
you soon. Yeah.
See you again, fellas. Be good.
Right.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
care.
Bye.
Bye.